I fixed it. Let's see. Live streaming. I changed the key and everything. Is it working now? It says that it's streaming. Oh, now it's working. Okay, great. Okay, we can go back to the to screaming at Ralph.
Savior sent $10.
Ralph. Wait, let's see. Someone roll him into the recovery position. He is going to asphyxiate on his own vomit and die. Oh no. I think this is it, chat. They're sending him money to play the. He's just sleeping. There's someone in Ralph's chat who's upset. No, this isn't embarrassing. He's just sleeping. He's such a hard worker. He's such a hard worker. He works every day. He works every day for the kill stream. And he works so hard. And everyone's so mean to him. And he's just sleeping. Alright. Okay, cool. We'll come back to the Ethan Ralph sleeping segment here shortly. I don't even know what this next. Oh, I know what this is.
Stating that I was fired. They all alleged that these actions were made on my own recognizances and that it was for my own political advances. However, if you look at the record, there is what we call a community trend. And unfortunately, it just so happened that the political hostility that was encountered by my team, and I was on two different teams during this deployment, they just so happened to have the Trump campaign signage. FEMA always preaches avoidance first and then de escalation. So this is not isolated. This is a colossal event of avoidance, not just in the state of Florida, but you will find avoidance in the Carolinas. Senior leadership will lie to you and tell you that they do not know. But if you ask the DSA crew leads and specialists what they are experiencing in the field, they will tell you. Demand for FEMA to give you those incident reports.
Sorry, I was fixing. I still had Ralph's chat synced up to the stream. What a horrible night for a curse. So she is a volunteer that was working with FEMA during the canes that swept through Florida and West North Carolina. And she is saying that in their strategy, which I think is outlined in one of these, it's a list of practices to avoid any kind of confrontation while working for FEMA. So it's basically de-escalate, get away. Like if someone's being confrontational to you in the disaster zone, don't engage them. You're not law enforcement. Don't cause any problems. Make sure you drink water. Like those kind of tips. But they also outlined as a general advice, if you saw any Trump signs, do not deliver any aid to those homes because you can just assume that they're going to be belligerent towards FEMA employees. So just like pass over all the Trump supporters that are publicly Trump supporters, so as to not cause any issues. Kind of an interesting tactic. Okay, what is this? Ralph Vape, Shia Ralph Vape. This guy is vaping as Ralph in my chat. I don't know how I feel about that. Um, then this is a family annihilation article. Two little boys, I think it was two boys, and the mom and dad were all murdered by Anthony, the father. Oh, he had two sons, I was right, 7 and 15, and he murdered his wife as well. He said in his suicide note, I think something about Trump. One of his last posts showed anger at the Minnesota Star Tribune's decision to not make an endorsement in the presidential election. So he had had mental illness. He was on the cognitive decline, but the last straw was the election of President Donald J. Trump, and he blamed his local newspaper for not endorsing Kamala Harris. And give me 1 second. Okay, does that fucking work? Okay, good. Sorry. Okay, I can unpause there. So they as I said before, I was rudely interrupted. The Minnesota Star Tribunal accidentally indicated that they were partly. Let's be real here. They are journalists. They don't deserve any credit. They are responsible for this family annihilation homicide. Next, Redditors. How are they holding up? Let's see. ULPT request. I have a neighbor who's a huge MAGA fan. He's a Mexican American, and his two parents are here illegally and live with him. How would I go about reporting him and getting them deported? I'm in Florida. This has almost 8,000 upvotes at the time that it was posted. ULPT. Anyone with MAGA family members or employees, report those individuals to ICE on Inauguration Day. They have illegal immigrant family members or employees. It's sad for people, but the message needs to be shoved down their throats. Cripple their hearts, their farms, and their businesses. They screwed up, and it will hurt this nation and the economy they love so deeply. ULPT. I was inspired by another post I saw here. An ex-friend of mine is now very MAGA. We live in Texas, and she drove out of the state to have an abortion 11 months ago. I have an invoice and a copy of a medical leave absence note she gave to her employer. How do I effectively report her? So this is their goal. Women that have abortions, report them to the police. Mexicans, gotta deport them all. Sounds pretty fucking MAGA to me. So, in case you're wondering, I think that in all the states, the abortion laws are that if you have an abortion, it's not a crime. It's giving an abortion that's a crime. So it's a penalty to the doctors, which is why a lot of doctors will not perform an abortion, even if they believe that they could do so legally, because they don't want to encumber the risk, or at least that's what they say, right? I don't know if that actually works out. They're writing rape fanfics. Ladies, we need to start considering the 4B movement, like the women in South Korea, and give America a severely sharp birth rate decline. We can't let men have the last laugh. We need to bite back. I fear if when women do this, Trump just might make rape legal. I wish I was kidding. On God, I wish I was capping for real. But he kind of has that power now. Also, he's a rapist. There's a video, actually. Let me find this. I wanted to pull this up, and I somehow missed it. But I know exactly where it's at, so just give me like 1 nanosecond. This is fucking crazy, this video. I make so many posts, dude. That's not good. I have like 40,000 posts on the Kiwi forums. Even though I've been around for like 12 years now on the forum, I still have like a post per day count of like 10. Isn't that nuts? Yeah, this is it. This is that crazy bitch shit. Fuck it.
For all of the white women, the Beckleys and the Bentleys and Emilys who voted for Trump, this is what I gotta say to you. Whenever your little Emily
fucking piece of shit. There we go. Go to a real website, chat, that works.
The white women, the Beckleys and the Bentleys and Emilys who voted for Trump, this is what I gotta say to you. Whenever your little Emily comes home full of Tyreek's cum shot, she's a teen. Sally, you told her not to mess with that dark meat, but she did. I'm going to enjoy the non-abortion that she's going to get. She's going to be forced to have that baby and trace the whole family. Go ahead, Tyrone. Put it in a deep dicker so you can get this swirl in. Mm-hmm. Now you got some niggas in the family now. You don't like us now. We at Thanksgiving dinner now. The whole in-laws, everybody coming over there. What's up? Your grandchild gonna be a nigga. Oh, Rebecca. You know when you be saying you're going to Pilates class, but we'll be going to the hood to see Rodney? You know what I'm saying? So we can pop you down and you go back home all tired and ran through to Stephen. That card was gonna break one day, baby. or that raw dog gonna really pay off, and that plan B ain't gonna be available, and that abortion ain't gonna be available, and Peter gonna know that you got some BBC all up in that ran through run over cunt. Oh, but she ain't gonna be able to get no abortion, are you? Yeah.
So I just wanted to hammer home this point that black women cheerlead rape, and that's why white women want abortions. I just I found this video very, very useful for my purposes. I also want to point out that when she's doing her crazy Joker laugh here,
for all the white women, the back of
do your bitch.
Whenever your little Emily used to vote for Trump, this is what I gotta say to you.
Look,
that dark me, but she did.
Look. Oh man, it's so hard to pause it right there. Oh, here, you can see the Cheeto dust. You can see on her tongue, because she does not take care of her teeth. You can see that right before this video, she was eating a bunch of Cheetos, and her tongue is like dyed yellow. So she was eating Cheetos, thinking like, I hope white bitches get raped and shit by Tyrone. And then she cut on the camera and produced this TikTok, or several TikToks, so it's 8 minutes long. So that's crazy. That's pretty interesting. That's fascinating. This is David Pakman, and he has a very interesting concern that I found pretty funny, so I'm going to play it.
I'm going to tell you something that is terrifying me. I always try to come here and put a positive face on everything, but there is something going on that is terrifying me. When I woke up this morning, we had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers compared to where we were last night. Now, the first thing I thought was, is this a glitch? We've been on YouTube for 15 years or something like that, and subscribers always just go up. They just never go down. They go up. Is something wrong with my channel? Is someone attacking my channel? What's going on? So I started texting. And I texted Brian Tyler Cohen. And I texted Tyler Cohen and Brian Cohen and Brian Tyler. All of them. I texted all of them. I texted
all of my cousins, my extended family of cousins, all the Cohens, all I know them all. I know all the YouTube Jews, and I contacted them.
Dollamore. I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar. And every single one of our channels since last night is hemorrhaging subscribers. What is it that is going on? Here is a graphic. As you can see, subscribers just go up, 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 and they are down. It is not just YouTube subscribers. We are seeing record cancellations of paid memberships. Record cancellations. These are the people that keep the show running. Now, for a moment, I thought, if it's just YouTube, maybe YouTube is purging people who are inactive subscribers. And once a year, usually YouTube does this and you see a little decline and then numbers go back up. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. And if that were the case, we wouldn't be seeing paid membership cancellations on the website. So now I understand what is going on. It's terrifying, but it is happening. A lot of people are checking out. I heard anecdotally from a couple dozen people who said, David, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. I'm checking out. I'm out. And the reason that this is terrifying, not only because it puts everybody in left-wing media's livelihoods at stake and at risk, it terrifies me because our instinct is the opposite of what the right does, and we will get crushed if this is the way we respond to a defeat.
I feel like the reason why is that this political slop that these kinds of people put out is so emotionally charged, and it entirely is contingent on how you feel about things, how you feel about immigration, but how you feel about healthcare, but how you feel about things like abortion. And when you have to drum up those emotional bandwidth to sustain your product, it is pretty exhausting to people. Whereas I think with a lot of what got Trump in is like it's not about how you feel, it's about the pressures that exist that are making your life miserable. Like the inflation issue, the cost of living in the U.S. and the cost of healthcare in the U.S. and the the answer about, well, you don't want to tear apart these Mexican families, right? It's like, well, when my healthcare is like $1,000 a month, if they're the reason why, if I'm giving them free coverage and they're the reason why my coverage costs so much, yeah, actually, fuck them. I don't like them. So there's one side that's very easily like falling into place. Like, yeah, if we got rid of that and moved more manufacturing back into the U.S., we might actually have like a real country that's financially stable. And that's not a very emotional kind of position to be in. Whereas Orange Man is really bad. He's basically Hitler. Don't you want to stop that? It's like, oh my God, well, I don't want to support Hitler. That's a very emotional kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit of a cope, though, because I'm sure that the other side considers their. One of my favorite memes, as an example, is that there's a saying that I've heard both ways, that reality has a left wing bias. And you see the exact same thing from conservatives. Reality has a right wing bias. That doesn't really mean anything. It's just people like, yeah, actually, my position is objectively more truer than your position. So you hear it from both sides. But I don't know. It does. I honestly do feel like one position's less emotionally based, and the other position is more emotionally resonant, and it has to be continually reinflated. And I think that with Trump winning, though, like with the re-election of Trump, it's sort of this like Star Wars type thing where it's like the Empire Strikes Back. It's like, oh fuck, we have to go blow up the Death Star again, you know. And it has like this heroic thing where it's like, come on, folks, let's go out and vote. And then you lose, and now it's like, well, you can't do anything to him because he's president, and he's not going to be able to run again. So it's over. It's over for 4 years. There's no point even paying attention to anything because he's going to do what he wants to do for at least 2 years. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are just like clicked out. I do hope, man. I can't imagine. There's so much like slop, and I hate it so much. I hate like checking websites and seeing people talking about Destiny like he's a real person and not a Nebraskan carpet cleaner who abandoned his child. Like not a StarCraft player, not like a midget cuckold, like a real person that people have to take seriously. I just see Destiny. Every time I see Destiny, I think bro, you lost your girlfriend to like a retard because you're a loser and nobody can respect you. And I'm supposed to like take him seriously, and that shit's kind of exhausting. I don't know. I kind of hate political content. um, oh, this is not political. This is base actually. Trump a long time. I think this was last year. Had vowed. Oh no, this is recent. This is last month. I thought this was last year. Ross Ulbricht is the founder of the Silk Road, which is an online drug emporium that was cryptocurrency based. He's currently serving 12 years in prison, or is serving his 12th year in prison. And real Donald Trump says he will save Ross Ulbricht. And the one thing that happened immediately after Donald Trump was elected was Bitcoin took the fuck off. I think it was a dramatic, like, not 50%. It's like at least like 1/3 increase, 30%. It almost peaked at $90,000. So, like immediate, and that's because he wants to put somebody in control of the SEC that's pro crypto, whereas Joe Biden was very anti crypto and very much like crippling the cryptocurrency. So, the idea that Trump is going to get into office and uncuck cryptocurrency is an extreme bull sign to people. So, Bitcoin went up crazy, which is really nice timing for me. Because I'm going to be spending money out the fucking ass to try and piece together all the household essentials I need when I move. But good timing, I guess. I'm thinking I should probably just cash out what I want because who knows if it's going to crash again. That's the thing is, I'll circle back to that. Ralph is woken up. That's not as funny as Ralph being asleep. He's just gonna mumble. Yeah, good timing. I never try to predict cryptocurrency because I'm always wrong. So I just spend it when I need to. And Life is Strange, by the way. So I have decided that I will not. Oh, I can't show you. I will not be streaming the entire month of December. I'm checking out the entire month. For various reasons. Not least of which is I don't want to say exactly what dates I'll be completely unavailable because that gives people the incentive on how to attack the forum and my other stuff. So I'm just going to be like, have a light presence in December. Yes, the entire month. I'm going through a lot. I don't know how long it's going to take to do certain things, how long it's going to take to get settled, how long it's going to take. So it's kind of like, I don't intend to stream anything over December. Maybe I will, probably not. But I don't want to like give myself like a strict time regimen. It's like, oh, I have to do this in 2 weeks because that sounds like a fucking nightmare. So I'm just gonna do myself a favor. I don't think I've taken a vacation the entire year. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I haven't. So instead, I'm just gonna take off December. I'm going to enjoy Christmas on the beach. I guess. I guess that's my plan. But I'll see. Maybe I can film some stuff in advance. The reason why I bring this up is because I am committing to playing Life is Strange 2, with on the weekends before the month is over. So this is a giant. I can't bring it up because maybe I can just do this. No, I can't. It's a giant list of trigger warnings, so you can turn on warnings for everything from like violence, blood, dog. There's one for dogs. So if you have a trigger warning for dog, it will pause the game and a warning will show up. It says, "Warning, warning, brace yourself. A dog is approaching the screen in 3, 2." I guess I'm the dog. Yeah, exactly. I've permanently associated canines with transphobia. So now trannies will see dogs and be like, "Oh, terrible." There's even a sex warning, and I don't think that there's sex in the game. From what I understand, there's a part where the two female characters play Smash or Pass, and so they have a sex warning for that only. But the mere topic of sex might be horrifically triggering and debilitating to some specific retard, so they added that too. And then the bottom one's the best one, transphobia warning. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and put on the transphobia warning so that I can be prepared to like, maybe I'll have like a little party blower and I'll just like I'll pop like a cork on like a wine bottle and start blowing my party blower. Like when it comes on, like, woo, transphobia part, woo. Well, we've all been waiting for, chat. So that's what's going on with Life is Strange. This is a Finnish article from yle.fi. I don't know what that means in Finnish, but I will sum this up very briefly. This guy right here is a teacher in. His name is Aku Marilainen, and he visited the Culture Uri Cocktail, and he was meant to give a presentation of, I think, what is the media artists who held a course for power and performativity at the Aalto University. The teacher was Tina Puza, so I guess this is them together. He has a very blue mustache, so you know he's a faggot. And what he did, instead of display to these students one of the I was told, but the article seems to contradict this. I was told that he was there to give a performance or a slideshow regarding some kind of topic related to culture. And instead what he did is it showed hardcore pornography to students. Now they're college students, so they can potentially deal with such a thing. It's hardcore pornography of himself. He filmed himself fucking and displayed the pornography of himself fucking, I guess with his gross-ass blue mustache on still, to a bunch of college students, including women. So He's basically an exhibitionist, and his role as a media artist was abused to flash and shock a bunch of Finnish girls for sexually perverse reasons. So, that's what's happening in Finland. Now, chat, not to beat a dead horse, but that kind of shit makes me think it might just be the end of the fucking world. Unfortunately, Nubbly disagrees. Thomas Hancock messaged him and said, "Hey, just want to check in on you, man. I hope you're okay. Channel your anger if you can, too, as it results in some profoundly avant-garde art that me and tons of others appreciate from you." Jelly Biscuit replied and said, "It's a comin' eventually. Actually completely distracted dealing with my bank right now because my account was hacked and I got no money. No joke. Goblin face." To be specific, Japanese goblin. So Mr. Nubbly is currently destitute. A Pajit has swindled his way through his account and redeemed all of his money. So now he doesn't have the resources required to finish the Trump edition of the end of the fucking world, which to me kind of presumes something about Mr. Nubbly. I believe that he only finished the Kamala Harris edition of the end of the fucking world, much like how South Park in 2016 had to rush out a Mr. Garrison Wins edition of the election season because they actually thought that Hillary Clinton was going to win, to the point where they didn't even bother to write a official canonical Trump Wins edition. So that's why that season, it stands out in memory as being like such a complete letdown, because it's one of the first serialized seasons. I think it is the first serialized season of South Park, and it builds up so perfectly. It really captures like a lot of the problems people had at the time, and then they just assumed that Clinton would win, and then when Trump won, they had no idea what to fucking do about it. So they just like shout out whatever the fuck, and it was a horrific letdown. Hopefully Mr. Nubbly, now that he has an expanded timeline, can go ahead and do us all a real solid and finish off the season correctly. Alright, so this is a combo news thing that I've done before. I'm trying to get avant-garde. Fucking app. There we go. All right, there we go. Okay, combo Troon news. Here we go. I'm only going to play a minute and a half of this, but I feel it's necessary to set the stage of what we're heading into.
The left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures, and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable.
This is why he won. Literally, I can't divorce this from my mind. How did he win so much of the black vote? How did half of Latinos vote for Trump? As if the Latinos voted almost as much for Trump as white people did. And it's like, how? How is that possible? And the answer is this. The tranny shit is just so viscerally disgusting at a baser instinct level to everybody on the entire fucking planet, except to people who have been exposed to indoctrination their entire life. That's the only reason. And what's funny is that if you read the comments for this, I'm not even a Trumper, but this is enough alone to make me want to vote for him. In this lunacy now, can you believe we are in a time in history where someone actually has to fight against this type of craziness? Absolutely supporting this. Finally, some common sense. The fact we have to have this conversation in the first place is insane. He's won my vote from Muhammad. This guy's name is Muhammad Waqs Ali. And he says, he's won my vote. Muhammad looked at this video and said, yeah, that's my man. Over fucking Kamala Harris. That's where we're at. And it's so incredibly based. And I saw a comment that was from a tranny on Blue Sky. And he was lamenting, saying, I can't believe that Trump won because millions of people don't think that I should exist. And I thought about that for a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, that's actually true, because you're really fucking gross, and nobody wants a child to end up like you. You're disgusting. That's actually right. I'm glad that you've come to that realization. Hopefully you'll adjust your fucking behavior, respectively. People like Liz Fong Jones and Luke Bathwater, they're all the reasons. This is why Trump is in for a second term, because you're so fucking nasty. This is an article from The Times by Camilla Long saying, Trump wasn't the candidate who made women feel bullied and repulsed. Why did the Democrats think women would not care about immigration or the economy? And her position is very simply about how abortion was not the saving grace that the Democrats thought it would be. It was very obvious throughout the Kamala Harris, like just seeing her campaigns ad, it was entirely about how he's taking away your rights, about your right to bodily autonomy, abortion rights, and it didn't matter. People still didn't vote for her because immigrants being violent rapists, the cartel trafficking children and drugs across the border, that was completely wide open, and the trannies coming after their kids, that was all much more important. I'm actually going to skip ahead to this. This was in California. This has been a famous case for a while. His name is Jeff Younger, and he says, my trial in California has finished. The judge may not like me for posting photos of my sons, but so many of you have prayed and supported my sons. You have a right to see who these young men are. Thank you. So basically, this guy is in the California court system, and those are his kids, and his wife has been working on transitioning them to daughters. And because he does not support gender transitions, the family, the Department of Health and Human Services, or whatever the fuck you call it in California, decided that he was unfit to have any access to his kids because he would not affirm their gender. So he's been in the California justice system for God knows how fucking long, fighting to get them back. And this is exactly the kind of shit that normal people throughout the country are terrified of. Because what a horrible fucking thing to lose your relationship and have your spouse turn into a nasty, vindictive person who's going to tune out your kids as some sort of petty fucking revenge. A lot of people are afraid of that. They're afraid of their schools secretly trying to tune out your kids, afraid of CPS abducting your children because you don't confirm their fucking hallucinations. That kind of shit. That's why they lost. But the machinations above us are still moving quite strong. Redux, which is a publication that publishes kind of like turf aligned stuff, that does a really good job of covering tranny shit all across the world, particularly in the English-speaking world, obviously. They had a Patreon for a very long time, and as of November 11th, they have been terminated from Patreon, and all their monthly memberships have been lost. So even now, even after Trump's victory, they are still doing this. They are not abated at all. Patreon, Stripe, Authorized Net, MasterCard, Visa Card, Discover, Amex, These institutions are still chugging along, still doing the same shit that they've always been fucking doing. So I again reiterate to anyone who's listening to this, anyone who gives a fuck, the number one issue, bar fucking none, that is currently plaguing our country is financial censorship from the payment processors. And that is why, as soon as Trump is in, hopefully we're going to have the foundation set up. We're going to start. I'm going to resubmit my FOIA through the foundation for the OCC, because I submitted, like over a year ago, I submitted for them to deliver to me records regarding the sudden freezing of the OCC rule that would grant fair access to financial services. They never responded. They're in violation of the FOIA Act and not responding. I'm going to resubmit it through the foundation and then move ahead with that. As soon as Trump is in, like day one, the OCC needs to enact fair access to financial services, and quite frankly, the Congress needs to pass laws to revamp the Patriot Act and rein in the payment processors. And I think that part of what the Department of Justice, just kind of aside, is that they're looking into with their law. Visa is being sued for being a monopoly, in part because I think the Federal Reserve has not been able to get FedNow as a peer-to-peer alternative to Visa card out to many banks in the years that it's been out, because Visa card is impeding them. So that is the most pressing issue. And I think every American is impacted by this. I think that the number of people who have to deal with like PayPal, especially PayPal, just straight up steals your fucking money, straight up steals from you, and everybody knows this. And it's still the largest payment processor, I think, in the U.S. next to the actual cards. It's a fucking nightmare. They need to be slaughtered. The entire institution needs to be brought down. So that's that. They published immediately after this, unabated, of course, that this nightmare fucking story. This is honestly one of the worst stories I've ever read. So trigger warning for those who don't want to hear this. This is a Canadian tranny. He was arrested for raping a 3-month-old infant baby, to the point where the baby had to receive reconstructive surgery because it was so damaged and so maimed by the rape that it left it disfigured. He was sentenced to jail, and after being convicted, transitioned to being a woman, quote unquote. And under Canadian law, they had to move him to a female prison. And in this prison, because it's a female prison, they have a maternity ward, because there are women who go to jail while they are pregnant and they need maternity services. And under Canadian law, these women have access to their infants for a certain length of time to raise them, because it's healthier for the baby, even in a jail facility, to be breastfed and cared for by their mother for a length of time, even if it's in prison. So he has access to infants in this prison. And he made sexual comments about infants being held and breastfed by their mothers, to the point where multiple prisoners had complained that this tranny was making sexually suggestive comments about little babies. And they didn't have there's nothing they could have done about it. And then, surprise, he raped a woman. Surprise, that's how that story ends. He just raped an adult this time, I think. Actually, the story's even fucked up than that, because I remember now. He had made weird comments about a baby, and women tried to block him from having access to the baby, and he just flat out freaked the fuck out and clobbered one of them and broke her ribs and shit in the prison. And they believe that he was trying to rape the baby, like in front of all the prisoners, but the guards intervened and subdued him before he could do that. So I just want to say, I've thought about it a lot, and I am fully in favor of a military annexation of Canada. Canada is not all bad people, but they are led by bad people. And only total and complete annexation of Canada and mass deportation of their Pajeets can save them from themselves. I really think that. I think that we owe it to them. They're not dumb. They're just misled, and they need help. Okay, chat. Well, we can save them. We just take BC. How about this? Hold up 1 second. Let me Oh, can I not? Oh, can I scribble in this? Is it gonna like nag me for my credit card if I use this? Oh, perfect. Okay, maybe I can. This, I don't know. This might not work. Okay, look. Can I draw on this? Okay. I want my pen. Here's my thought. Okay. Draw tool. Okay, does this work? Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, we take the Yucatan, British Columbia, Alberta, right? And then we just leave it like this. Now, this is really important to me. I feel like this was an original mistake. There's a river that goes there between the Great Lakes and the Atlantic Ocean. We're just going to take all of that. We're just going to take all of that. Because, like, I don't know what the fuck you call this part of New England that's, like, between our New England and, like, their southern part. Like, this, we need all of this back. That's ours. We want Toronto. Maybe just this part. We'll just cut it right there between that Great Lake and. But we need this right here. Like, this is American. I don't give a fuck what they say about that. It's so stupid how we have the border right there. It's like no. We're taking this back, and we're covering this up. Okay, we're taking all that, and this can. I'm trying to like undo it, but it's like a big pain in the ass. Can I like undo? Oh, here we go. This part right here. I'll make this red. I'll draw real quick. Yeah. This part, oh, I can move. That's nice. This part right here. You know, I think I changed my mind. Actually, we're taking Saskatchewan and Nunavut too. Or no, not the Northern Territories. Nunavut's over there. And then they can have this part. And they can take Manitoba. We're taking Saskatchewan. They can have Ontario. And then we'll take they can have Toronto too. And we'll just take that part, that river right there. And then they can have Newfoundland and Quebec. But we're taking Prince Edward Island, completely ours. Completely ours is Prince Edward Island. And then also military border right there because we're taking Greenland. We're taking Greenland also. We're not taking that one militarily. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna show you. Ah, fuck. Don't move that back. God damn it. There we go. We're going to do this. This is how we're going to acquire Greenland without military. We are going to tell them, we're going to tell Denmark right here, you have an option. We'll eat. Here we go. Ozempic or Greenland. We will steal the patent for Ozempic and make it ourselves, or you can give us Greenland and we'll pay you $1,000 a needle still for however long. This is our agreement. This is how we're going to save the West. This is how we're going to save America. What about Quebec? Fuck Quebec. They're French. Fuck them. What the fuck are you going to do with a bunch of French people, dude? You fucking crackhead. Do you want Mama JF's corpse that bad? Come on now. It's nonsense. All right. Kind of also in the news. This is La Leche, I think was the name of it. Yeah, the La Leche League, which was, I believe, a British breastfeeding charity. And their goal was to get excess breast milk to infants for mothers who could not produce their own breast milk. So they just kind of coordinated the supply and demand of a charitable material. And of course, trannies get involved and they start getting breast milk, to which one of the founders of the charity have stepped down. So trannies just get whatever the fuck they want. And breast milk is extremely important. Breast milk has a lot of stuff that formula can't. And it's very, very important that a baby gets breast milk if it's at all available. So even if it's from another mother, even from a wet nurse or whatever the fuck, it's still better than formula. So trannies damaging something that is so quintessentially important to newborn babies. It's just disgusting. There's honestly, and I'm trying to be charitable when I say this because I'm really thinking. I'm sitting down and I'm thinking, what do we get from tolerating trannies? You can't fucking reproduce. You make everything more complicated and shitty. You're all fucking rapists and pedophiles. Almost all of them are some kind of weird sex pest because it's a sexual disorder, and it's directly linked to sexual sicknesses. It's like, what do we as a society, what do we get from tolerating your continued existence? Because I can't think of anything. I think that we can even replace all the like if you take all the trannies that are like in programming, like, oh, they're like super autistic and they develop code, just replace them with Chinamen. You know how many Chinaman developers there are? There's like a lot. Get rid of all the fucking trannies and replace them with Chinamen. You know how much better that our society would be? A lot. Can anyone act means inclusion? I don't think we get anything. I think we're getting fucking ripped off. It's the worst deal of any deal perhaps ever. We give you genital mutilation surgeries. We give you pronouns in bio. We give you all sort of concede. You let you fuck up the fucking gay flag. We just give them all that they want all the fucking time. They take and take and take in the name of like human rights and dignity that nobody fucking needed until 10 years ago. And we get literally nothing. There's not a single one of them that is worth it. That is worth all the fucking drama. Like, you would need a tranny that's like a combination of like Albert Einstein and that Jewish guy that invented fertilizer. Who's that German Jew who invented fertilizer? Fritz Haber. Fritz Haber invented the Haber-Bosch process, which has effectively allowed millions of people who could not ordinarily live to live on our planet. Many of them Africans, but that's a different topic for a different day. Born in the Kingdom of Prussia, now Roslav, Poland. We need like a Albert Einstein, Fritz Haber tier genius tranny to even come close to 1% of fucking worth it, you know? But we're never gonna get that because they're all gooning to like fucking Honkai Star Rail or whatever. What's the big one? Genshin Impact. I think Honkai Star Rail is less popular. Anyway. Oh no, oh my god, a fucking anime. Heard their favorite gacha game mentioned and now they're all excited. I am not reading all this. I'm going to spare you. This was written by a guy called Dave Muscato, and if you've ever heard of Dave Muscato, it's because a long time ago I talked about him. He's a really, 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 really gross tranny. He doesn't bother to transition at all. Actually, switch hams now. I think we're done with the news. I never bothered to transition, and has super rich parents. Now, his parents did not completely give him everything that he wanted, and as a 40-year-old man, they expected him to get a job. So he called that abuse, literally called that abuse, that they were abusing him by expecting him to get a job. They eventually removed him from their house because he was 40 plus, living at home, not paying any sort of rent or anything like that. Just staying in his room, gooning all day and all night, pretending to be a woman. So Mama and Papa told him to get fucked. He responded to that very poorly. He responded to that by launching an all-out defamation cyber war against his father, who was a practicing doctor, if I remember correctly. Accused him of raping his patients. Accused him of chronically abusing him since he was a boy. Just like the absolute worst shit you could ever say about anybody for any reason. Levied against his own father, and levied against his own father for the sole crime of not giving him a free ride his entire life. And in this big, long post that, again, I'm not going to read, He's actually, the last time I talked about him, I remember his father had pressed charges against him for harassment because he was effectively plotting to destroy his life's work as building a career as a doctor. And so this post effectively, he complains that his mother and father were very well off. They received a trust fund that apparently paid out a great amount of money. That his mother's retired and she gets a huge amount of money from her retirement account that she gives none of to him, and that's so awful. It's so awful that she worked her entire life for retirement, and now that she's collecting it, she's not giving it any of it to him. It's just the worst thing I've ever heard, chat. It was so traumatizing to read this poor trans woman's plight. And then he caps it off with a little meme down here that says, his great grandparents, we will make a better world for our children. His great grandparents, or his grandparents says, we will make a better world for our children. And then his own mother and father, fuck you, entitled brats. If only they had given him tens of thousands of dollars for no reason at all. He could have made something for himself. He could have been a journalist or something. And a real beautiful trans folks. No. So terrible. Okay. Actually, there's a little bit of Troon Locale stuff after this. For instance, Tommy Tudor is back. I did a whole stream on Tommy Tudor a very, very long time ago. One of the only streams I've ever done where I've had a guest appearance because the two other admins that were around the Kiwi Farms at the time, Yawning Sneasel and Imspecs, helped me out with the deep lore of Tommy Tudor. It's so long, so sophisticated, that it's really impossible to sit down and actually try to figure out what the fuck happened. I did talk to him. You're right. I've spoken to Tommy. He's back. He's been gone for a long time, and as it turns out, he's been held against his will in a psychiatric facility. I think he troubled the police enough where they put him into some kind of treatment place, and now he's out, and he gets to blight the world with his presence. And so, the one thing that he decided to do is he would go onto a website called Nextdoor and start with unhinged fucking ranting. Now, I should warn you, I've been told that this is funny, but I've not actually pre-checked it, so I'm gonna kind of skip around. Says, anyone here who lives in the neighborhood familiar with South Tucson city plans for development of the El Paso and Southwestern Greenway? My company, Real Things International, is contemplating a request for eminent domain on behalf of my group. So his Real Things International company, I think it's like an unincorporated company. It might be incorporated, but he basically just sells rocks. He wanders around the Arizona desert and tries to find shiny rocks and then sells them as like gemstones and crystals. And he computes in his head that they're worth like $100 each, even though they're just like shiny rocks that he found wandering around in the desert. So he's threatening to go after the city for land as a part of his eminent domain pitch for whatever reason. Okay, so the people of Nextdoor have found... Nextdoor is an app, if I remember correctly. It's an app where it's kind of like a local Facebook, so you join it and you're like, oh, I'm in this area, and then you talk to your neighbors. So Tommy Tudor was posting around in his Nextdoor area in Tucson. And this person decided to ring the bell. Bruce Mullins, he says, so I was just posting in a thread last night, and one of the people in the thread sent me a DM. Within the first few messages, the person shared with me details about how they had touched a child inappropriately. It was a very confusing exchange, but when I asked if it had happened in Tucson and mentioned that I planned to go to law enforcement about it, they began threatening me. I don't know what to do about this, but my interaction with this person, I felt was very important to let people in the neighborhood know, keep your kids safe. So if you never watched that stream with Tommy Tudor, one of the biggest things of contention in his long history, because he's like 70, he's been around for a while, is that when he was in his 20s and was like a super hippie, traveling around and trying to fuck hippie chicks, he encountered a girl who, this number has changed a lot, but it was always between like 9 and 16. And the way he's described it variously was that she was a certain age and had been sexually active since she was 9 years old. That part's always consistent. I'll actually read his message because this is the part that jumped out. Tommy says the minor was a fully mature young woman who had been making her own decisions about who she was going to sleep with since she was 9. Brilliant girl who got up out of the street, graduated college, married, had kids, and is a grandmother now. She invited me into the bed with my partner of the moment when I walked in the door. It was 1982. I was 28. She was almost 16, and the other woman was 25. What would you have done? So in Tommy's mind, this is a no-brainer. Like, come on, bro. When a 15-year-old is inviting you to have sex with her in a threesome, nonetheless, what would you do, bro? And in his mind, it's just like he instinctively expects that everyone will be like, boing, 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 boing. Obviously, I would have sex with this 15-year-old. I can't hold you to a different standard because I myself would do that. Which just shows what a fucking retard he is. I don't know. It was the 70s. It's kind of shocking when you look into like the history of like the U.S.'s child pornography laws and you realize that like in the 1960s and 70s there's just this scourge of fucking pedophiles openly making child pornography, and like they were selling it in gas stations and shit. You had Playboy covers with like 15, 14-year-olds naked on the front of it, and we were just selling it in the stores. It was even worse in Europe. It took a while for the law to catch up with shit like that. Not to excuse him or anything, I'm just saying that it was people take for granted that we've always had protections against things like that. You may retract your. Oh, he threatened me. He wrote a big ass fucking post. Should I just read that? Yeah, it's short. I'll read that. You may retract your opinion of me or not, sir. It has been reported as public shaming. Bruce says, who are you? Tommy says, I'm your neighbor who lives behind the church. The gray Jeep is mine. Where do you live? The Thomas Wasserberg character is a CIA asset who stalks me, impersonates me, and does everything he can to make it appear that I'm an insane sexual predator and grifter. Anytime anyone searches my name, it's a long story. Come on by and I'll show you around. And then he randomly says that he fucked a 15-year-old. Bruce says if she was almost 16, then that means that she was 15. I hope you will understand why I'm informing our neighbors about this and why I will need to send screenshots of this conversation to them. Did this happen in Tucson? If so, I need to inform law enforcement. Tommy replies and says, I hope you understand that if you do anything but keep this between us, that you will be named in a civil rights claim of organized, targeted harassment with a potential financial liability exposure that is getting filed in just a few days. It is really in your best interest to meet me in person before you do something that will get your tit in a ringer. It was over 40 years ago in Venice Beach, California. Douglas Botten says, confused. So Tommy Tudor has crash landed into a neighborhood in Tucson and immediately outed himself as someone who has had sexual encounters with 15-year-olds and is surprised that people don't take kindly to that. Racism says, my boy Racism, longtime fan, says, oh, Tommy's back. Can we play Careless Whisper yet? Tommy, very interestingly, if you missed the stream, he's a musician. He plays, he's a busker even. He goes out and he plays live music. His instrument of choice is the recorder. No, I am not joking. Tommy Tudor only plays the recorder. You might think, well, does he play it well? No, he doesn't. He's very bad at it. He plays the recorder very poorly. He goes into public and he busks playing a plastic recorder in public very poorly. He says, I have the sheet for it now and I can play it, but I need to work up to it before I put it in public, and I have no desire to work up to it until somebody wants to commission a recording. That's his line. Whenever, like, if you ever talk to him about something or you're making fun of something, he says, okay, well, you don't get to talk about my Facebook post unless you give me money. You don't get to criticize my music unless you give me money for it first. And it's like, no, I'm not doing that. He always tries to like hustle you for like $50 or whatever for rights to make fun of him. Lately, Tom has been. This is DSP's tax lawyer saying, lately, Tom has been going on about how his business is really starting to take off thanks to his delusions and his mind being fed by multiple scammers outside the country taking his money. However, Tom doesn't have a totally legit company registered. Oh, so it wasn't registered. I knew it. So someone can decide to register an anonymous LLC in Delaware, Nevada, New Mexico, or Wyoming, and use that LLC to open up an LLC in Arizona under the name of a totally legit business. which is definitely fucking a-logging. And I would definitely recommend you do not spend $200 to fuck with Tommy Tudor because he doesn't give a shit. You need to sue me to get cease and desist when I present this exhibit to court. You'll have to pay me damages and legal fees. Let's see. I signed up tonight, made a couple posts, and asked Twitler a question. If any of your disinformation comes up, it will be dismissed as fan fiction generated by a gang of deep state cyber criminals, which is what the Hoffman Group is. Oh my god, the Hoffman Group. Nobody tell him about fucking Gabe. He'll lose his fucking mind. This is also something that I didn't read before the stream started, but I figured it would probably be funny. So after Trump won, trannies most affected, and this is the Space Station 14 Discord server. Space Station 14, of course, is the posited, it's not officially a sequel to Space Station 13, a game that I have supported in the past. Unfortunately, the Space Station 14 seems completely stalled in development because it only exists as a sex RP. Jezethur, who is one of the lead developers, says to everybody, to all of our friends in the LGBTQ community, I know things might seem bad right now, but we're all in this together, and we will never stop fighting. Please don't give up. We're stronger together. If you need to talk to somebody, reach out to a friend. They won't mind. If you need more help or don't have anyone to reach out to, here are some safe and confidential resources for you. He says, please, by all means, react to my messages with clown emojis so we know who to ban for being transphobic chuds. I'm going to assume that everybody with the Russia flag and Poland flag emojis are chuds. Certified fucking chudsters. I don't give a fuck if you voted for Trump or not. Caring about someone not taking their own life is something that transcends political beliefs. I disagree. Alexiv says, well, you managed to piss off an entire nation with one post, and you gave them a global shitstorm that got some channels restricted from posting. Are you happy with that? Skysex says, let's not talk about politics. Why do you have a cropped porn avatar on a server full of kids is a better question. Kai says, what's wrong with giving out info to help people? Mira, a tranny furry, says, this was put on the announcement message, but I will use my 6-hour slow mode here. Just to clarify, this is not a political message. This is not about Team Red or Team Blue. This is about people's well-being. I like how people see the announcement as something political instead of something to help others. Tell me who's not reading. Meanwhile, resident Space Station 13 Kiwi Station maintainer Gecko Goy has added black people as a race and has denied them from all positions except bartender, clown, and cargo tech. They're banned from being lawyers, but they can be chaplains. That's quite nice of him. Good job, Gecko Goy. Great. So this is a blast from the past. This person has not done anything of note at all in a very long time. However, he got a little bit salty after the election. So please, let's take a warm welcome for the return of Catherine Peets.
I'll be honest, you'd probably be better off not even fucking. I fucking hate every goddamn Trump supporter in the world. Hey, Budget. And by the way, it's not just U.S. I hate every Trump supporter on the entire goddamn planet. Every single fucking person who supports Trump. Hate every fucking one of them. Nope. No, Trump supporters can fucking die in a goddamn fire. Like, I've got a bottomless fucking well of it. Like, in all honesty, if you support Trump, I actually don't even want you watching me. I fucking hate you. I despise you. I think you are an absolutely shitty person. If you support Trump, I think you are genuinely, legitimately a shitty fucking people. I mean, he got 70 million votes, but frankly, Taurus, there's a lot more than 100 million people in the world that I fucking hate. Like, it's not, I mean, Trump supporters aren't the only people I hate. And Ash.
You can always tell when Pete's is upset because he does that thing where he's like that fucking, just like completely unable to form coherent thoughts because he's just like so angry. So he just like fills in with the swear words and shit. Meanwhile, as a double flash to the past, and by the way, we can end the Troon segment. Chantal also has a little clip that I'm going to play.
So you have to move it. Oh my god, it's squeaky as hell.
That sounds good. That's a good sound.
Look how it's squeaky.
Help! Help me get up! Help me get up!
Babe, you cannot move?
I'm stuck!
Oh my god, she's stuck. Wait, let me help her.
I'm stuck! Help! I want to.
How? Oh my god. Okay, I helped her here. Don't ever.
Okay, in case you're like new to the stream, that woman and this guy were at one point boyfriend, girlfriend, and they had an abortion at one point. She had an abortion. She didn't want to have his kids. She kept him around as a live-in like housemate for like another 7 years. And then she eventually found out that she loves getting beat up by Arab men, and now she lives in Kuwait. And that's not a joke. That's actually true. People who have been around for the 5 years that I've been streaming know that's completely true. And people who have never listened to me before think I'm making everything up. Cool. Oh, I forgot something, actually. Let me pull this up. I have this downloaded. I'm going to flip to this real quick. So, I mentioned a while ago that I was interested in getting a copy of the materials related to the search of my Google account from 2022, I want to say. So, I had an attorney who was very experienced with FOIA submit a FOIA request to get those documents. This response that I have gotten says this. The FBI can neither confirm nor deny the existence of such records responsive to your request pursuant to FOIA exemption B7E. The nature of your request implicates records the FBI may or may not compile for law enforcement purposes. This is a Glomar response, can neither confirm nor deny. It comes from the USS Glomar, a ship that was responsible for espionage during the Cold War. When asked about the existence of the Glomar, the federal government would reply, we can neither confirm nor deny that such a ship exists. So, hence, it's called a Glomar response. What the FBI has responded to, in response to my FOIA, is that the materials that I've requested is a matter of national security, so they can neither confirm nor deny it, which is actually in a roundabout way, information about what it was about to begin with. If you don't remember, during Drop Kiwi Farms, a bunch of stuff happened, and there was some thoughts in the tranny community that I was being investigated for crimes against transgender, heckin' valid transgender folks. However, in that same time, one of the, I think it was Tor Swats, who's now in jail, if I remember correctly. He had actually forged, like, he had done a swatting on Marjorie Taylor Greene and pretended to be from the Kiwi Farms while doing so. And Marjorie Taylor Greene at the time was a sitting member of the House of Representatives, if I remember correctly. So I think the most likely Occam's razor explanation for a Glomar response is that I was being investigated in connection to a threat posited against a sitting member of Congress, which would be a national security incident. So those are the fun things that are going on in the ether around me as I sit here in the closet and stream about fat bitches that are too fat to ride a carousel. Fascinating times, truly. Cool. Next. Oh boy, we're returning to our man of the hour. We started the stream off. I gotta get pumped. Ugh, where's my energy at, chat? It's time for the fun stuff. It's time for the really fun, the things that I'm truly passionate about in life. Such as Ethan Ralph. I have nothing but passion for Ethan Ralph. Ethan Ralph decided he was going to flex on stream. He was going to show people that he's a big guy. He means business. So he threw around his chair a bit just to show off the gun. I cannot help but dance to this.
Did he really get cucked by Steel Toe?
Do the thing.
Let's go!
There we go.
You know what? Fuck this!
Yeah.
Fuck this!
Yeah. Punish that chair.
Fuck this shit! Fuck this shit!
Smash it. Smash and slam. The gun poking out. Look, so dainty. Little gun pokage as he lifts up the chair. Smash that chair. Brrr, fuck you, chair. You piece of shit.
Oh, you think my arm is fucked? Yeah, fuck.
Fuck you, bitch. Now, let's wind that back. Can we get a rematch, chat? Chair versus Ralph.
Your pussy's clever and so slick.
That's his music, by the way.
But I think that your pussy's really thick. I wanna see your pussy, show it.
By the way, retweet this. I just tagged LawTube Sean, the fat fucker, and I said, your fat ass is next. Okay, we want to start cases on everybody for internet bullshit? Okay, alright, you know. If that's the way you got... Whoa, shit!
That is Ralph falling backwards out of his chair. Immediately after calling Sean a fat fuck, he just tips back. The order was given, let me see your pussy. And then Ethan Ralph delivers, woo, here you go. Just, that's the kind of service you just don't get anymore. Ask and receive. Truly excellent. But Ralph's not all up to just dumb shit, chat. Ralph is up to some serious fucking business. The rumors came in first from loyal Killstream fan Haru Okumura, which from what my understanding is a Persona character. He says, Ethan Ralph has revealed live on air very angrily that Minnesota is pursuing charges on him for something related to his attendance at the Rekieta Omnibus hearing, which was wrong but inferred. He says they don't seem to care much about him personally and are focused on going after Nick Rekieta. And they're alleging that he was acting on Nick's behalf when he virtually attended Aaron's hearing. He says that he was contacted and served by an agent of the government. Ethan Ralph was emailed midstream by a sheriff from, I believe, the, not the Candy, Ohio County one, but the other one. It's like called Sharon's County. It's the one where Aaron lives. And the county asked Ethan Ralph to turn himself in to law enforcement because he has an outstanding warrant for a misdemeanor contempt of court. That's a big thing, right? A misdemeanor, by definition, does not disenfranchise you, does not cost you gun rights, does not it's only punishable by at absolute maximum 1 year in prison or 1 year in jail even. Anything that involves prison, I believe the distinction is anything that involves more than 1 year, involves prison, involves disenfranchisement of rights, that's a felony. So he's just looking at a misdemeanor, which is at most 1 year. So it's kind of a minor thing, right? Well, he responded to the police officer, and I believe he even said that he wasn't going to turn himself in. And that led, because he lives in Mexico, and fuck you, Bish. So now Ethan Ralph is the fugitive. Allow me to explain what has transpired as a result of this. And I asked a former elected district attorney for information so that I would be more informed on this topic, because very thankfully I'm not actually that versed on how criminal proceedings work, especially warrants. In the United States, there are agreements between all the states in regards to extradition. There are some caveats, some distinctions between them. In particular, it gets kind of hazy in regards to child support payments, parental kidnapping, that kind of shit. There's little differences between states, but they all generally have a network of how they handle warrants. And the big thing is, it's your own responsibility. So let's put out a theoretical. Let's say that the state of Minnesota, a county in Minnesota, has a charge, and they want to bring it against a man who has fled the state, perhaps to Mexico, and they want to get him no matter what. So they put out a national warrant. They put it into the database and say, it does not matter where this guy is, we will come get him. So what would happen then is that this guy could perhaps cross from Tijuana into California, and the Customs and Border Patrol or security would notice that he has entered the country and he's a wanted person in their database. So they would hold him, they would detain him, and notify the issuing authority responsible for the warrant. And a warrant then, they would hold him in whatever jail. The county would then get 2 sheriffs, and it has to be 2 deputies because one deputy may be indisposed, has to go to the bathroom, has to do something. So you can't leave the guy, the criminal, by himself. So there has to be always 2 deputies to make an arrest. Then the county will pay for these 2 deputies who are now on the clock as active duty service members or whatever, not service members, but police agents. And they'll get 2 plane tickets to Southern California. And then they have to take transportation or get the sheriff's department to give him a ride to the border where he's being held. And then they have to go back. And they'll have to pay for 3 plane tickets from Southern California back to Minnesota. Then they get in their car, and then they drive. That's like 24 hours. That's a long time. They get overtime because they're working a very long shift. That's 5 commercial plane tickets. And then there may also be fees related to the agency that held him. So it's a very big deal, and that's easily, based off what I've described, easily $10,000. That's taxpayer money, and it's paid by the county. So it's kind of expensive. You don't want to put out a national search warrant or arrest warrant, because if you're in Florida and they're arrested in Juneau, Alaska, unless it's a really big deal, you probably don't want to pay your taxpayer dollars to go out there and apprehend this person, especially if you're an elected attorney who is responsible for wise management of finances, right? But so generally speaking, a felony is what's required for a warrant. If it's a misdemeanor, like for instance, let's say that you're in New Jersey and you know that you're going to, or if you're in South Dakota, if you're in Minnesota and there's a guy that you know who crosses over into North Dakota to work because they have that big city on the border between Minnesota and North Dakota. You say, okay, well, we'll also put out a search warrant in North Dakota. If he gets arrested in North Dakota, that's close enough, we'll go get him. That's how it works for a misdemeanor. And that's like an extreme example. They don't usually do that either. Ralph has a misdemeanor contempt of court charge. And they have put out an international or a national search warrant or arrest warrant for him. A national arrest warrant. And from what I've been told by a former prosecuting attorney is that is unheard of. Never once in his career did he put out a national warrant for a misdemeanor because it's just not worth the money. He might, if again in that situation where you know that he travels between 2 states very frequently, he might put out one for 2 states for a misdemeanor. So he's done something to Stearns County where they want his ass enough that they're going to put out $10,000+ and police overtime to haul him from whatever shithole he happens to end up in and get arrested at, and bring him back to Minnesota to face a contempt of court hearing. So that leaves a lot of questions. And I have a particular pet theory that I don't want to say on air because I'm pretty convinced I'm right. And I think that me saying what I believe is not in the interest of justice, chat. And you guys know I love Justice. You know, I'm a big fan. They make a lot of good songs. So I don't want to jeopardize that. So, this is his active warrant. Oh, it is Stearns County. And as it turns out, by the way, even if it's a misdemeanor, the statute of limitations in regards to time elapsed to charge him with this, it's indefinite. As long as he's out of the state of Minnesota, the charge is on hiatus. So it will never run out of its statutory limits. He will have this misdemeanor in Minnesota until the day he dies if he does not face the music. So theoretically, the smart thing to do would be to go to Minnesota and face the music. They'll even pay for your plane ticket. There's one potential reason why that might not be such a smart idea, but again, I'm not going to say what. Ethan Ralph, of course, is not the kind of guy to face the music, because he's a fat retard. So the first potential issue that he has is he's actually lost all of his identity documents. He's lost his driver's license, which he needs to drive in Mexico, and he's lost his passport book. And this kind of requires an explanation. In the United States, there's 2 forms of passports. You have passport books, which are the real ones that you want to have because you can travel anywhere with a passport book as an American, basically. There's also passport cards. Passport cards are only valid for Canada, Mexico, and a couple other Caribbean island countries. And only for ferries and land crossings. You cannot fly from Mexico City to LA with a passport card. You still need a book, but you can drive from Tijuana to LA, and many people do that every day, which is why there's the card. You don't need a stamp. As long as you have the card, you can land cross between the international border. And you can also commute from Buffalo up to Niagara if you want with the card every day. No issues. So that's what part of the reason why Ralph has moved from the Yucatan to Tijuana is that he has lost his passport book, but has his passport card, so he can still go see Zanda. It just takes many more hours to get there because he was driving. And for whatever fucking reason, he's too fucking dumb or lazy to renew or to report his passport book lost or stolen and get a new one. And I think the main reason why is that you have to appear in person at the U.S. Embassy. And I guess he's afraid to do that for whatever reason. So now he's really fucked. He doesn't have any documentation that he can use, and if he uses his passport card to drive into the United States, he's immediately going to be scooped up by Minnesota, which is weird. So I don't know what he's doing, and there's a thing that I always notice, because I pay way too much attention to weird government shit for my own good. But I've always noticed when I fill out certain documents, there's a little checkbox that always made me laugh that says, I affirm under penalty of perjury that I am not a fugitive from justice. I'm like, you would think a fugitive from justice would have other shit to worry about than filling out this fucking mundane form. And now I get it. Ralph is a fugitive from justice, which means that he cannot actually pass background checks required to do many, many things that you and I take for granted. Even me living abroad, I can conduct a lot of business just fine, filling out boring paperwork. But now Ralph can't because he's a fugitive from justice. So a lot of his stuff is going to start expiring, and he might lose access to things like American Financial Services. And in Mexico, or anywhere outside the United States, you can't open an account as an American specifically because of the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act is very invasive, and any bank that has American citizens has to report all of their American clients to the United States, or they have to not accept American citizens, or otherwise the American government comes after you. So he's going to start losing access to a lot of the things that he needs to get by day to day. And I don't know why he thinks that he can just hide in Mexico. Mexico is one of the worst states that you can hide in to get away from the U.S. government. They deport your ass for child support from Mexico. No problem. It's a movie trope that you go to Mexico to hide from the U.S. federal government or from the state governments. In reality, we sorted that shit out decades ago. They'll send you back home if they really want you. So he's going to start hurting if he loses access to his super chat money, even though it's now tax free. If he can't deposit to his bank accounts because they're frozen due to his criminal status, fugitive from justice status. It really depends on how bad they want to go after him. So he's really fucked himself. It's quite remarkable, actually, how badly he's fucked himself. And it's kind of strange, too, that he has decided that he's just going to abandon seeing Xander. And he's angry at Aaron Emholt. He's saying, Aaron Emholt, you're keeping me from seeing my son because of this fucking warrant. I'm not gonna be able to see my son anymore. And it's like, no, dude. What really fucked him though is that he is in contempt of court because he restreamed Aaron Emholt's hearing on Zoom, and he just assumed like, well, they're not gonna come get me if I do this. And then he even acknowledged in the recording, I know I'm not supposed to restream this, but I'm in Mexico, bish. They can't fucking get me. And they're like, okay, fine. And what's really funny is that they might not even expect him to ever come back to the United States, but just by applying that fugitive from justice label and making him a national fugitive, it's like they've really fucked him for free. I don't even think they have to pay the money to put the thing into the database for the warrant. It's like a free button they can press. Okay, there's a warrant for your arrest. It's not going to ever expire, and it's across the entire country. So you're just going to have to eat shit until you decide to come back here and spend 6 months in jail for contempt of court. Really crazy. So, that aside, is this the right thing?
Hillary!
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, so after this was announced, Ethan Ralph got completely and totally fucked up. It goes without saying. So here's some timestamps from the Rationals. It's a pill stream. He does these all the time. He's just like really fucked up, annoying, slurring speech, sounding retarded. But I'm going to trust the Rationals and check out these timestamps for you guys and see if they're funny. I actually took the effort to download this. Can you believe that?
So
he replied to the police by email. I think this is his response.
Okay, so this was my response, and I only showed this response after what I'm about to show you. At first, I wasn't going to respond at all, actually. But I saw that they had executed a search warrant on Twitter, and I didn't see that until like 2 or 3 weeks later. But I said this. I said, I was taught never to speak with police in this manner without an attorney present. I don't see anything in your correspondence that would change my normal practice.
That is such a that's how you know he's like a bona fide fucking holes in the brain retard. You're talking to somebody and saying, I know I'm not supposed to talk to you. And that's like the first sentence of like 3 paragraphs. Like, okay, you know, but you do. Crazy how that works.
This is not an admission of any wrongdoing, only that it is my belief that this sort of thing is best handled by a legal professional. I do not live in Stearns County. I have never held residence there or set foot in the county. I have no intention of ever doing so. Please let me know if I need to retain local counsel, and I will arrange that in the near future. Thank you for reaching out. I rarely use this email, and so I just now saw your request. Sincerely, Ethan Ralph.
He was tipped off, by the way, that they were investigating him because Stearns County had put in a search warrant for him for his Twitter messages. And I think that the email address that he's using, killasmoke1985@gmail, is probably his Twitter handle. I also very much appreciate that his Gmail username for killasmoke1985 is Anon. So, as a professed anonymous person on his email, he's responding to the police officer and signing his name to confirm the receipt that he's aware that he is now a wanted fugitive from justice in Minnesota and the nation of the United States. It's the little things that I find amusement from, chat. It's the little things. Okay, this is the Twitter search warrant. Oh, duh. I'm explaining things you're already going to hear.
The search warrant. They filed a search warrant on Twitter. Asking for videos that I had from September the 3rd. They didn't ask for my DMs, but they asked for subscriber information to include but not limited to names, addresses, phone numbers, email addresses associated with the X account of me, and all posts, videos, photos posted and associated IP. Bitch, you can't find me with my IP, cocksucker.
He's so fucking dumb. I'm behind 7 proxies. Yeah, are you also a permanent resident of Mexico and they have your address on file? Yeah, okay, great.
Addresses made on 9/3/24 for the X account of me. They block out the name, it's redacted. That's some cop. It's probably the same cop that, contacted me. And once I got back to him and said I wasn't going to talk to him, they filed a charge against me because there's a theory that they actually wanted me to testify against Nick Rekieta and say that he put me up to it. And first off,
if you're wondering, the music is loud because Ethan Ralph is a flaggot, and he's threatening to take down any people commenting on his video, but he can suck my asshole because fuck you. I'm commenting for the future court district. I'm commenting on the fact that this fat retard has ruined his entire life after he thumbed a teenage girl's asshole.
I won't comment on that at all. But second off, I won't comment to the police at all. And so, if I talked to them and said, yeah, I'm a snitch, by the way, Rekieta did not have anything to do with anything I've done ever, but, if I've been a snitch and said, yeah, he put me up to this and they probably wouldn't love that, but you know what? I'm not a snitch, nigga.
So when I rewrite the DMCA as part of my foundation, I'm going to do something just to fuck over Ralph. I'm going to make it so that one of the possible reasons you can reject a DMCA is that the owner of the copyright is a fugitive from justice. Just specifically to fuck over Ralph and his flagging.
Yeah. I'm 10 toes down. I'll fucking spend 10 years in the goddamn fucking jail before I fucking be a bitch. And so that's me. That's how I was raised. That's the milieu that I came up in, and it's 10 toes down, nigga. I don't give a fuck. Nobody told me to do shit. I didn't do shit illegal, and if you want to come for me,
he admitted it. He admitted that he knew he wasn't supposed to rebroadcast the court proceedings. And he's like, I ain't done shit, bitch, motherfucker.
Fucking
big snooze.
Get me then, bitch.
Oh, bro.
Don't do it then.
Don't say that. If you ever are in a confrontation with someone and there's a chance they might do something or they're threatening to do something you actually don't want them to do, don't ever say, do it then, pussy, because 10 times out of 10 they will just straight up fucking murder you. There's no way to galvanize someone to fuck you over faster than daring them to do it.
Do it then, okay? You want to come at me for some shit? Not saying I was doing this, but everybody else was doing this. So I'm not going to jail. So,
dude, I wish I could canonize that as like one of those like election bets. Will Ralph go to jail in 2025? I would bet 1,000 right now. I would call PPP on that. We'd gamba it up.
all these fucking retards who think I'm going to jail, that's not gonna happen. And I'm not going to Minnesota. So, like, I may pay the fine just to, like, clear it up, but I'm
The
not going
fine.
to Minnesota.
The fine. It's an arrest warrant. They want you. It's like, okay, fine. I'll pay the contempt of court fine. How much is it? Sir, you're going to have to come over here. We're going to prosecute you. There's a jail sentence attached to it. How much pesos? How much American dinero to pay this fine, sir?
Having a hearing? Like, fuck off, bitch. I'm in Mexico, and come and get me if you want. Which you can't. Mexico has treaties with the United States, and they don't honor misdemeanors. So suck my fucking fat white dick. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Suck my fat white dick.
Okay, I think that's the end of that segment. Smack my horse up at 1710. That's promising. I haven't had a beat a dead horse segment in a very long time.
Fucking piece of shit. Smack my horse up. I just got rid of my horse, but whatever.
This is catchy. Okay. Ralph discusses his sexy physical therapist. Okay. Adios mio.
And it's funny because, like, all these people airlocked are like, oh, Ralph's smitten. I am smitten. That's true. But, like, oh, he doesn't realize she's just, you know, creating conversation because that's her job. Yeah, actually, I do realize that. But I wonder how to get past that.
Austin Bear sent $2 on Rumble. Call Cog.
I call him a fucking drone strike. But like,
that's actually a funny
she doesn't
response.
realize that's her job. First off, that's the main part of her job because she's like massaging my fucking, you know, muscle and nerve and electrotherapy and all this shit. Like, that's the main part of her job. But like, we're sitting there for an hour, so we talk, right? And she speaks in English. And I know that, right? Like, I don't hit on her when we're done. I shake her hand like I would a man. Like, I don't ask for a hug or anything like that. Like, I treat her.
Ralph's in the physical therapy zone. It's rough, boys. It's rough out there in Mexico.
Like I would a dude. But in my head, I'm thinking, God, she is like the perfect. Thank you. I love you too.
Welcome to Costco. I love you. Okay, 210. Then he passes out. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. I had breaking news delivered to me yet again. I've got it slotted in.
Guys, you know.
No, he does. He just slumps. Dude, that's gotta be like a bad sign. Like when you just like slump over in your chair and like pass out for 2 minutes at a time. That's gotta be like indicative that your brain's fucking melting.
Tell me how to, you know what, you're a female.
Ralph, I love it. My favorite Ralph is when he's like so drunk he can't like activate his back muscles to like have posture anymore. So he's just like slouched over, and because his camera has like such a narrow field where it has visibility because of the overlay and everything, you can only see like the cap. Like it's just like the Ralpha hat talking at the because he's so drunk he can't keep his head in frame.
I mean, you're Jewish, but
well, look at her reaction to that.
I mean, you're Jewish, but look.
That's the face of a woman who's like, yeah, I'm not into you already.
You're still a female, and so can you help me? Like do you know what?
Such a good song.
Radio. Radio.
I'm vibing.
Have you ever heard of that?
So radio is what, your wrist?
Yeah, basically my hand's fucked up. And my forearm's fucked up.
I can't jerk off anymore. I need one hand for the J-O, one hand for the scroll. And you're a female. You're Jewish, but you're a female. I need some help.
Well, it's getting better, but I missed my appointment today.
Song kicks ass, by the way. Only 90 kids would know.
It's fucked up. I had two this week, but I was supposed to have 3. And I'm also like super crushing on the female, right? Because
what, like the
she's
worker?
training to be a kindergarten teacher. She's training to like, physical therapy, right? Like, is it my...
Look at that frown, bro. Flags that she is not intrigued in this conversation. I think that's a good one right there. Okay. That's the Ralph update. Let's not kill this shit anymore. Next. Nicholas J. Fuentes. Again. Oh my god, there's been an update. First of all, let me just say this. This man, Aetius, has heard my impassioned plea, and he took my Patrick O'Neill image, and he has made this post that says, I've come for you, Fuentes, you will be my concubine. He says, pepper spray, and he says, that just makes me harder. 60,000 likes, 1 million views. I, as the unmoved mover, have put out the idea that the Nick J. Fuentes Patrick O'Neill concubinage can happen, and indeed, meme magic is slowly proliferating throughout the sphere, throughout the auras of the many, and it will become a reality. Indeed, we are approaching that reality. Immediately after announcing to the world, there was I might have covered this actually on the last stream, but when the super chat or whatever, not the super chat, the video of him saying "Your body, my choice, forever" went viral, and millions of people reacted to it. They played it in fucking schools. Schoolboys chanted about it. It became like table talk, like people saying, "I'm actually kind of scared that fucking young men are chanting "Your body, my choice" at my daughter." That's like terrifying. So after he did all that fucking damage to Trump on like day one of after getting elected. He was simply too tired to do a show, partly because he was super doxxed by a bunch of fucking Karens who are out for his blood. And Andrew Tate says, log in and perform Monkey, your body, our choice, which I find funny because he was trying to suck up to this Muslim rapist before, and now he's literally getting fucked. Like, if Ethan Ralph's friend tried to make this kind of joke at him, he would get really pissed off and upset. But Nick Fuentes is just going to have to take it like a bitch, I guess. These are the tweets that went viral. Tens of thousands of likes, millions and millions of views. People just openly sharing his address, proliferating throughout the Twitter sphere. And then a elderly Jewish woman, a 50-something-year-old Jewish woman named Marla Rose, went to Nick Fuentes' house and did something that nobody had ever done before. She confirmed that the address that many people suspected to be his because it was bought under his grandmother's name is actually his house. She caught glimpse of him walking into the home, and also got still images of him. This is him pepper spraying out the door. This is him walking to the home after she spotted him. That's him kicking the camera into the house, I've discovered. And then that's the police showing up about the encounter. So there was some speculation about what had happened. A lot of people thought that was like her position on the floor looking up at him. People wanted to know if she had like accosted him walking to the home. He even has a little ADT sign in his yard. That's cute. So there were some open questions as to what happened with this woman's confrontation with him. But basically the police did not want to press charges at the onset because she was at his house, basically, which is a point of contention that a lot of people sided with Nick on this. So I'm not going to impose my bloodlust too vocally. Even Tim Pool acknowledged the Kiwi Farms in this, our great coverage.
House. So you've got some photos here. Kiwi Farms post after a viral video declaring Your Body, My Choice. Fuentes' home in Chicago has been turned into a Your House, My Choice zone. Progressives are attacking him. And here's an image of Fuentes.
Attacking him. Marla literally walked up to the door. Okay, I'll save that. He had to change the language of my tweet to suit his beanie needs, his beanie desires. Nick Fuentes put out this bewildering statement saying, I spritzed a minuscule amount of the pepper spray downward, not into her face, and then I left. I did not learn until much later that the spritz had done a lot worse than I had imagined it would, as well as learning that they are so-called manager and ass manager of that particular street. I had no idea of the contents of the pepper spray or that it was illegal for use in certain situations in the state of Illinois at all. And I had tried this stuff on myself days before in the upstairs bathroom. A 2-second spray onto my left wrist. Some of it got into the bathtub wall as well, like sampling a perfume or deodorant. It took me out damn well. I had to open the windows, turn on the bathroom fan, and aim the box into the bathroom to air out the place, and I wiped off the wall as well. And of course I washed my hands. It took 15 to 30 minutes to make it bearable there again. This is a Chris Chan tweet. In case it wasn't obvious, this is from when Chris Chan sprayed the GameStop employee and said, don't call anyone. And then he published these two tweets. It's real. It's real, of course, chat. It's real. Don't worry. If you want to believe, it is real. Okay, so then after this, Zoomers have started coming to his house and doing whippets in his yard. As user Thoughty says, at Fly Swaggy Kid, thanks for having me over, bro, at Nick J. Fuentes. And then there's a picture of them together saying Hen and Jack were there too. They didn't do any Galaxy Gas, though. So after this event, and people learn that, no, that's really where Nick Fuentes lives. It's become a destination, and the kids are coming over to do the Galaxy Gas in the yard, as is customary. This is how you know where a Zoomer's been. You can trace him by the Galaxy Gas spent whippets on the grass, on the floor. Like, Zoomers have been here. And now it's just a little tourist destination. This tweet got deleted, but it had over, I think, 30,000 likes before it got deleted. This is Brenda saying, Nick Fuentes is now staying at his mom's house. It's ironic that he runs to a woman to protect him. And this is literally just a White Pages result for his father, William Fuentes, and where he lives. And this got shared around and viewed millions of times before it was deleted by X. Meanwhile, my account, of course, has been banned for 5 months, in case you're keeping track. This is, I believe, it's either him or somebody they saw on Twitter, but this guy did a drive-by of Fuentes' house, and I've looked through this a bunch of times. I can't find it, what he's talking about. He says that the house in particular is the one left of this dumpster right here, and he says that you can see his security guard. So he hired private security again to make sure that nobody's doing whippets in his yard. So that's what's up with that. He's now hired private. According to this guy, he hired private security, and he's still there at the house. So the Catboy compound is under siege, under lockdown, and things are getting worse. This Groiper decided to send this woman a message Barbie Agitprop got a lesson from Noah saying, dysgenic communist whore that bet you had a great relationship with your father, your body, my choice, laughing emoji. She promptly doxed him, sent these messages to his entire extended family and his job, and he sent her groveling messages saying, I'm honestly really sorry. I don't know why I typed those comments out. That's not who I am as a person. None of this was true. It was just being needlessly callous. She says, I'm still contemplating telling your girlfriend what a jackass you are. He says, please don't. We rarely ever talk politics. If she knew about this or how I felt or what I've said, she'd probably break up with me. And then, he replies on an alt saying, please delete that post. You are actually going to ruin my life. I was just being edgy. I picked the worst insults I could think of at the time. I swear I didn't mean anything. I'm not sexist. I'm not transphobic. I'm not any sort of bigot. Multiple people have already messaged me and I'm kind of freaking out. You'd really ruin some kid's life over meaningless messages on Twitter. I've already apologized to everyone. What more do you want from me? How am I supposed to learn from my mistakes? And it's because he had his bio, had his university. Roiper with a girlfriend. I'm telling you, bro, he's able to like convince young men in particular that he has shit figured out. I guess he's got that 70s Jerry curl bussy haircut or whatever the fuck. I don't know what kind of spell he has. By the way, all this shit reminded me of this article by a dumb tranny. Kiwi Farms went down. Now everything is Kiwi Farms. It's been more than a year since the famous hate forum went down, and the uppercase I internet is more hostile than ever to marginalized groups. Such KF is without its defenders. Per WAPO, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a nonprofit, has labeled the attempts to take down the site as censorship, saying that if the site in question were Reddit, Planned Parenthood, or even the EFF, the lowercase I internet would be up in arms. The site is not Reddit or Planned Parenthood or EFF. The site is Kiwi Farms, which exists solely for the purpose of killing trans people and also sometimes disabled people. Okay. That's how you know it's dead fucking serious here, chat. And of course, there's been an update to this just before the stream started. The actual video of the confrontation, because in this picture, you can see him kicking the phone down. She got the phone back from the cop, I believe. This is the full confrontation. You ready? Oh, shit. I didn't preload it. I'm such an idiot sometimes, chat.
Hi. Oh my God! What are you doing?
Get the fuck out of here!
Oh, he stole her phone. I didn't even notice he picked it up. Okay, so let's go by this play-by-play. I'm assuming that when she took this picture of him, he knew that he was being watched, especially because I imagine he's on high alert because he just pissed off every woman in the entire fucking world. So she starts to film herself as she goes up to press the doorbell. I imagine that expecting that he'll answer the door and she'll talk to him and be like, hey, you know, you're a real piece of shit for what you said about rape or whatever. And then he might throw a hissy fit and like, I can't believe you'd come here. That's like doxing. You're harassing me. Instead, as he sees her approach the door, he opens up and immediately, like, oh no, a femoid, starts spraying her. He starts pressing the trigger before his arm is even fully extended out. And he tries to get as close to her as possible. She hasn't even touched the door. She hasn't even rung the bell, but he's opened the door and immediately attacked her with this. And I'll get to my legal thoughts in a second. I know you guys love those.
Oh my God! What are you doing?
So she's really surprised because that's not usually how most people answer the door. It's kind of comical. Like, yeah, for sure. It's like silly how she responds to that. Here's my thought on that. She responds kind of like confused because obviously it's a really confusing thing to be attacked like that. But also, she said that the pepper spray was very weak. And my thoughts are that he's had that pepper spray probably for years. He probably keeps it in his purse, like at all times. Chemical gas has a lifespan of 2 to 4 years. So chances are the organic compound in it that is responsible for the stinging effect has become lessened over time because it's no longer it's not shelf stable. So it's probably expired. Then this is the really confusing part. He walks out of the house. I guess she's backed off because she's been sprayed with pepper spray. And then he just steals her phone and walks back inside his house and throws it on the ground and then kicks it in. And I guess his thought is that he doesn't want people to see this video. This is the best part. This is my absolute favorite part of the entire video. This is a ASMR segment, okay? So close your eyes. I don't want you to watch this. I want you to listen. You ready? Use your ears. How many fucking locks are on that door? Is he shaking with fear that he can't put the chain into the hole and slide it in? Or does he have a comical number of bolts and locks on his front door, like a paranoid schizophrenic in a cartoon? Because it sounds like he's deadbolting it over and over again. I just can't tell if he's actually physically shaking and can't manipulate the 1 or 2 locks that he has, or if he's actually bolting down the thing with 10 different messages. Let's take a listen again so you can inform. You can watch this time. You can see his hand movement as well. Oh, it is. It might just be the one, because I can kind of see his hand movement. It feels like he's pulling the chain over and he can't get it in. It does feel like he's shaking or something and he can't fit it. He has to use 2 hands because he's too nervous. Anyways, let's go back to the initial incident.
Hi.
So if you don't know, Nick Fuentes lives in Chicago. He lives in Chicago 30 minutes from the nearest Department of Justice office. From where he lives, he can walk 6 minutes to a bus that parks a block away. He can take that bus 10 minutes to the Metro line, and he can ride that Metro line directly east to the city center and get off at a stop that is directly adjacent to the Department of Justice. He's technically outside of Chicago, but out of the city limits, so I don't know how the rules work in regards, because I know that in a lot of states they have special exemptions specifically for the big cities, so I don't know if living where he does counts as living in Chicago as far as the law goes. But almost always, when it comes to self-defense, just as a general rule of thumb, you never want to decrease the barriers between that increase confrontation. If she did anything to stop him from closing the door, you could shoot her. That's escalation. That's breaking and entering, even if the door is open. If she puts her foot in the door, if she puts her hand on the door to try and pry it open, that's breaking and entering. That's probably a felony, and you can probably get away with shooting her at that point. The issue is that he opens the door.
Hi.
He's safe inside his house.
Hi.
And he opens the door and he sprays her after she says hi to him in a kind of kindly voice. It's not like a threatening voice. So in terms of morally in the right, I don't really give a shit what your opinion is. Legally, it's a bit of a toss-up. It really depends on the prosecutor, because I think that he fucked up. Just rule of thumb, if you're ever in a self-defense situation, if you ever feel like someone's out to get you, never ever open the door or confront them. And I know that sounds bitch-made, because there would be people that would say, oh, he'd be bitch-made if he didn't open the door and do something to chase her off. And it's well, maybe in a tribal sense, if he's dancing around a campfire and he has to fight off younger men to keep his harem of concubines or something 4,000 years ago before we had writing. In modern day in Illinois, in the suburbs of Chicago, You don't want to open your door and initiate a confrontation. But then again, I don't know. It feels like there's a case to be made that opening your door to pepper spray an old lady on your doorstep out of fear is more bitch made. But I will leave that up to you. I was always told to make sure they swing first as a rule. I mean, the rule is basically that you either have to be in fear for your safety, or you have to have a reasonable suspicion that they have engaged in a felony in order to use lethal force or force that could cause great bodily harm. And I think that pepper spray is always considered a weapon for that purpose. So it's like, again, if she was trying to open the door or let herself in, that's always okay. But he had the option of just not answering the door. So from a legal perspective, it's like, I think he really fucked up. Now, will he be charged with anything? She wants to press charges, but I don't know. The cop didn't seem too sympathetic, but then again, he's Nick Fuentes. But that could go either way. It's like he's a federal asset, so it's like, I don't know if they'd actually want to charge him or not because he's valuable to the agency. I still get comments from groypers, by the way, that are like upset that I don't like Nick Fuentes. And it's like, I want to tell you guys something. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this before. I had a guy write me an email years ago. He had just gotten out of jail. Not out of jail, out of prison. He was a groyper, and he was at Nick Fuentes' rally on January 6th. And he had just been convicted. He was now a registered felon. He had served, I think it was either 6 months or a full year in prison for January 6th related charges. And his life was ruined. His family was from the Arlington region. They were well off. And he had kind of been ostracized from his entire family. And he couldn't get a job anymore because he was a felon. And he was despondent over his life because being a felon's a big deal. You can't own guns, you can't vote, it follows you around, it impacts every single facet of your life, you can't travel. It's not like he doesn't even have the option to leave the U.S. and go hide in Argentina because they don't want a felon. And he was despondent, and all he wrote me was asking for advice on how because at the time I had been talking about how I believed happiness was a choice. And he was like, how do you choose to be happy, even though you're kind of like this weirdo without much money living in the middle of nowhere by yourself? And it took me like 2 weeks to reply to this guy. I did a thing where I left his email in my inbox and I just like cleared everything else out and just sat there for literally weeks. And eventually I replied, and he confirmed that he got it because he said he didn't expect to reply. And then kind of recently, not too recently, I got another email from him saying that he had moved out of the state. He was kind of in like a super Republican area now. He had moved very far away from his entire family, got a job doing like IT shit at like a low level. And all the guys there were like old boomers that respected him being a convicted felon for January 6th. He said he had gotten a girlfriend. Oh, his girlfriend left him back home because he went to jail and was a January 6th, Trumper, felon, white nationalist, or whatever the fuck. He got a new girlfriend, and I think everything was working out for him, and he said he thanked me, which I was very gratified to hear. That's why I absolutely fucking hate Nick Fuentes, because in his audience, in his crowd of people, if you look at the videos of him walking around with a megaphone telling people to go into the Capitol building, they did. And they went to jail. They became felons. They went to prison for 6 months. I think some of them are still in jail, depending on what they did. Because a lot of those people got very heavy sentences for multiple years. And the only person of that crowd of hundreds of people, because the federal government was so bloodthirsty after January 6th because they had to show that there is no safety in numbers. You can show up in the thousands. You can coordinate an attack on the federal government in the thousands, and they will systematically, for years after the fact, hunt you down, post pictures on social media, encourage people to rat out their own families. They'll find you. They'll drag you to D.C. in handcuffs. They'll extradite you from whatever fucking corner of the country you're in. They'll put you on charge. They'll give you a felony. They'll put you in jail for 6 months. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're at. If you did something to displease the federal government, they're going to come after you. And they went after everybody. And of all the people who were there, of all the people who incited a riot or whatever the fucking charge they got, the one that walked away from it was the guy with the megaphone telling people, his own followers, to go into the Capitol building. That was the guy who caught no charges and is free to walk around. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. He flipped, he turned, and he takes marching orders from the government now. And since then, I remember when Nick was a younger performer, and he was, because he's 26 now, he started like his Trump stuff like when he was 17. If you compare pre-2020 Nick Fuentes to post-2020 Nick Fuentes, his demeanor is completely different. Because back in the day, he was a very happy-go-lucky kind of guy. He was always laughing at shit. He always had like this like unaffable demeanor and stuff, and it was endearing. Admittedly, I didn't like a lot about him, but I still understood his appeal. After 2020, he's fucking dour. He's completely like self-enrichment driven. He ran with fucking Kanye West, a black guy. He ran he bumps elbows with the fucking rapist Tate brothers. He had that Ali Akbar pedophile around and knew that he was a pedophile and knew he was into young white boys and still let him around people like Smiley and was more pissed at Smiley for getting molested than he was at Ali Akbar for trying to get sending him dick pics and getting dick pics from him and shit. And it's like, it's so fucking obvious that this is a guy who hates his fucking life, is a miserable cunt, is fucking possessed by the balls by the DOJ. Probably can't leave where he's at. Probably he's stuck in Chicago. That's where they have him. And he would leave and do something more meaningful with his life and his money, but he's stuck because they won't let him go because he's an asset. And it frustrates me to no end to see him successful and in his operations against populist movements in the U.S. And it makes me extremely sad to see more young people, more young boys, jump on his movement and repeat his lines, even though it's going to fuck up his life, just like that one kid. That he took advice from Nick Fuentes, and now he's going to lose, a bunch of support and a lot of things that he had going for him because he trusted Nick Fuentes. And I feel kind of powerless to stop that, to like help people who I know are going to get fucked over by trusting this federal fucking asset, this traitor who has committed treason against his own people, his own fucking supporter base. Never mind his movements or his race or his country or whatever. He's committed the worst thing you could possibly fucking do. He sold out his own people, the people that still fucking listen to him and have listened to him for years. And it disgusts me, and it really frustrates me how like incapable I am of remedying the situation in any way, shape, or form. I have a plan, though. I have a plan. I've been thinking about it. I have a plan, but I can't say what. I don't mean to cock tease. There's something I know I can do that will be a lot of fun, but it has to wait. Trump has to get into office first. It's on my fucking to-do list. I wrote it down. I promise. I got a little to-do list for when Trump gets into office. I have a plan. The Empire is going to strike back, chat. The Empire is going to strike back. I have a really, really funny idea. Okay, that's enough about Nick Fuentes. I'm sick of him. Let me cue this up real quick before I start showing the slides. I apologize. I saw this literally last second. Okay. Now, the other Nicholas J. Fuentes. Actually, I have a hamster thing that I think that's like the old... Okay, look. There's this hamster I don't think I've ever used, but I'm gonna drop it in just for today because I think that Nick Fuentes or Nick. Oh god, I'm gonna do that the entire stream. Watch. I think that Ricardo's crack habit is so mountainous at this point that we need an upgrade. We need an upgrade. Okay, so. This is Patrick Melton. He is the pedophile. I played a video about him being a pedophile a couple streams ago. Really gross, fucking disgusting person. I'm kind of pissed that Dax Herrera, a.k.a. Juju the Cow, man who gets fucked in the ass while dressed as a cow, continues to introduce more pedophiles into my cinematic universe. I really don't like talking about them, but Nick Fuentes for. I just need to call him Rekieta. If I say Nick, I'm gonna slip into the Nick Fuentes. If I say Rekieta, I have a chance. I have to remember Rekieta. Talking about Baldo. Rekieta. Okay. This is what Melton has to say about. Oh no, sorry. This is Rekieta talking to Melton, and has a statement for the world.
I just want to remind the entire internet that Aaron goes to my Kiwi Farms thread and then jerks off right after reading it. That's right. Aaron goes and he reads my Kiwi Farms thread over and over and over, page after page after page. And when he finally reaches the end, he immediately switches and starts jerking off furiously. And yes, I can prove it, and that's even worse. This poor bastard, I can prove that Aaron Imholt thinks about Nick Rekieta and reads about him and then jerks off, and that's what he likes to do.
Hold on.
What a cock.
You can prove he reads your Kiwi Farms thread and then jerks off.
Yes, I can do it. It's funny.
He's got video of it, I'm sure. What?
What a retard. Why would you want to read about me and then jerk off? Just come over and stare at me and jerk off. I'm pretty. I'll let you do it. I don't care.
Okay, before we get into the analysis of this clip, let's talk about something completely unrelated to the actual content of the video we just watched. What the fuck is he on? I have a pet theory that he is doing galaxy gas or something, because he's not sober. There's no fucking way that the guy you just heard is 100% sober. He's intoxicated by some kind of substance. And I'm trying to think, what can you do that's not going to piss hot? Because I know that they're testing like his hair. I know that they're testing his pee. So it has to be something that he can do that is not going to show up on those tests. Or if it does show up on those tests, he has a reason for it. He has a prescription. So... High on life. Okay. Carpet glue, robo tripping, gasoline. Oh, is he Rama chat? Is that what's happening? Shrooms? No, I don't think mushrooms would get him to act like that. Ketamine is out of the system very quickly. Does that not show up on long-term tests like hair? My pet theory is the galaxy gas, because the kids do it and it does get you high and it does make you like a fucking retard. And I feel like that would be right up his alley. And I can't imagine that galaxy gas shows up on any kind of test. Yeah, ketamine would show up on your hair test, I'm pretty sure, because it has metabolites. Whereas air duster, it doesn't metabolize. It's just suffocating your brain. So definitely kratom. Okay. Everybody's going to have their own theory, but I'm going with Whippets. I think that he's going to do galaxy gas on Fuentes' yard at some point. This is the second clip, I think, of the Melton thing.
So the girlfriend you spoke of earlier was not April?
She was my girlfriend at the time. We're broken up now. It sucks, man. I love her. She's cool.
What?
Wow.
Spy report.
So then can you confirm or deny, is April on your property? Is she staying on your property anymore?
Docs.
She doesn't live in my house. I don't talk where other people live. Like, I don't want to say anything other than that.
Okay, so if you don't know, the guy on the right is like a Aaron Imholt A-log, and his whole shtick is that he has like a green screen and a Muppet, and is like putting in Aaron Imholt's studio, and he has like an Aaron Imholt Muppet thing, and he streams with this pedophile who should be crucified, but I don't think that there's a type of wood that's strong enough to hold his fat ass up off the ground. Okay, so the two clips we just watched, the first one is him admitting that he has some way to absolutely, totally prove for sure, for real, no cap, that Aaron Imholt first reads the Kiwi Farms and then second jerks off to cuckold pornography. And the second clip that we just watched, he confirms that he's in a relationship with April Anderson, formerly April Imholt, and that she lives somewhere close to him, i.e. on his property. These two admissions are very important. This one in particular, I think, is a direct violation of a no contact order that he has. He has some. There's some kind of I think it might be a conditional release, or for her, there's some kind of condition where he's not allowed to be living with April. So I think that she's living in the Cuckquean Palace still. So it's kind of like you're kind of violating the spirit of the order, but not necessarily the letter of it. So you're going to get away with it. The other one, this one has far greater complications. On the topic of April, this is a photo that she posted, I think, on Instagram, and you can see that it matches up directly with the Cuckquean Palace on Zillow, which I think that they've dropped the price down of a little bit more. So that's still for sale in case anyone wants a nice property in Spicer, Minnesota. But she's living there. So then he gets this message of him complaining. I will clarify what he's talking about after this ends.
I can tell you this, like, I have a letter from the fucking attorney, the district attorney in my case, who says there's no victims in this crime. These are not victim crimes, which includes the children, by the way. And I'm hoping to get the children's charge rectified based on that letter at some point in the very near future. Because if there's no victim, they can't say that there's child endangerment. And there wasn't. I want to be really, really clear on that. The reason they would say there's no victim here is because you don't actually have the evidence to sustain a child endangerment charge, because you can't actually show any time where a child was brought around an illegal drug or had any negative consequence from any sort of thing. It really sucks how the news has like trickled out from these things that should not have been public, because it paints me in a really terrible light and doesn't give me the opportunity to respond. But one day I will respond. But most people could just use common sense and figure out that an 8-year-old doing a whole bunch of cocaine would have negative health consequences, and someone probably would have talked about them somewhere like a hospital, and then me going to prison harder. But that hasn't happened, and there's a good reason for it. That being said, like, there's all sorts of shit here to deal with. I don't want to go to prison because I do have kids. I do love them. I always have. They've never been neglected. They've never been hungry. They've never been so dirty that they're in danger. None of that shit's real. And guess what? Like, I'm going to prove all of it when it's done, because I have all the recordings of the people conspiring to tell the lies to the fucking preacher. Like, that was an actual conspiracy by people to get together to tell untruths to a guy so that he would relay them to the cops. And I know that because they fucking said it, and I have it on recording because that's how this shit works. You get discovery, and all of those interviews get shared with the defendants so they can defend themselves, not just in court but also in public. So it's weird. It's almost like a bunch of people got together and lied about me, and there's some really bad fucking timing involved, and then everybody didn't know what to do. But me least of all, I'm like, jail's weird. I don't like this that much. I'm going to sleep. Oh, and the cops tried to talk to me in jail, and I made fun of them the whole time too. It's fucking stupid. Detective Poplin, I'm going to probably see you in court. You're fucking stupid. You're probably gay.
Probably gay. So his complaint that he has a letter from the prosecuting office that there is no victim in his case. I know exactly what letter that is, because that's the letter in reply to my motion to broadcast his trial, or specifically his pre-trial hearing that we didn't really have a right to ask to be heard, but we said, pretty please, it's a super special case, so you definitely want to go outside the norms and broadcast this. And the judge was like, no. He said, resubmit it after the pretrial motions. So we could at any point submit the our media access request. And we'll do it again. I think we're going to wait for the other pretrial shit to get sorted, and then we'll do all at once. That's on the table. The thing that he's saying, though, the attorney responded to our request to broadcast the pretrial hearing and also the trial, was that they don't have any issues with that because there is no victim in the case. The way that they worded it was basically just that they didn't anticipate calling any witnesses to stand that would be classified as a victim, so they weren't going to call his kids. And either he has deliberately misinterpreted this to mean that his children are completely unharmed and they therefore have no case against him, or he is just deliberately misrepresenting this to everybody to try and pretend that the state said something that they did not. The fact that there is literally, in a legal sense, no victim in the case. The victim is the state. They brought the case because he's in possession of a controlled substance. It does not mean what he's trying to imply. So this stood out to me as particularly interesting because it is just a blatant on the fucking nose lie, and it's like, how gullible do you think people are? He's finagling that as if that admission is somehow going to get his kids back. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, the state said there's no victim, so therefore there can't be any family court issues as well. Now we have to talk about April. So April has a Twitter account, and like everybody with a Twitter account, she's lost her fucking mind. By the way, I'm still banned from Twitter. Everybody, please play me a sad song on my violin. She has started tweeting absolute fucking nonsense day and night, and it's really bizarre. So I'm going to read these tweets, and we'll go through them together. We'll process them together as family. Ah! Oh, wait, sorry. It's a laugh. Aha! Ah, why so serious? As Nick's dick is on my thigh, and I'm trying desperately to find all the green circles to put my limbs on, wishing he'd just slip it in. Ah, he still wants us. Ha 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 ha. Whoever gifted you this information deserves a big thanks and a pat on the back, and should also get a subscription to Related Law on my channel because there's big things coming, spelled like ejaculation. Another win for the toe? No, Nick and April. Now, okay. Hold up, let me get that. Did I get this out of order? I'm gonna have to switch back and forth, I think. I think that's what's happening here. That tweet that she just showed that she was laughing at. Nick Rekieta published this screenshot of browser history on a Google account. Now, on Google Chrome, you can sign into a Google account, and this has the very handy feature of syncing all your Google shit together so they can better track you between browsers. In particular, it syncs your browsing history. So, if for whatever reason you were at a man's house high on cocaine and getting fucked in the ass and letting your girlfriend get pounded by this guy, and you decided that you would sign into your Google account on a computer that was at his house, and you forgot to sign out, that means that when you're at home on your computer, on your Google account, browsing the Kiwi Farms and then switching over to cuckold pornography to jerk off, it means that Nick Rekieta can still see your browser history at his house. And that's exactly what happened. Now, this is or on April's computer specifically, because she seems to, this is the tweet that I just read, she seems to confirm that it was her that gave this wonderful gift to her new boyfriend, Nick Rekieta. There's a problem with that, and I'll just switch over to this one. Aaron suspects that Nick has been accessing his Google accounts, and okay, I'll read that in a second. So, there is something that was written in 1986. It's a very important law. It's called the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. And this outlines the federal definition of hacking. It is a very, very generously worded definition. Effectively, any kind of computer breach or any kind of access to something that you reasonably believe you do not have access to is hacking. Technically, they call it computer trespass because calling it hacking when you just open something that you have access to completely unimpeded sounds a bit silly. But computer trespass is a very real thing. It is a felony. It is a federal crime. And I know people who have been convicted of it. If you guys know a guy called Andrew Auernheimer, a.k.a. Weave, he went to federal prison, I think for, I want to say years. I want to say he had a multi-year sentence. And all he did was he went to an unsecured IP address that belonged to AT&T, and it just spewed out consumer information to whoever opened it. So he accessed and publicized data that was on this completely free access AT&T server, and that was computer trespass, aka hacking under the CFAA, and he got several years in prison for it. So it is a very generous law. Now, would a Google account count as unauthorized access to a computer thing? Yeah, especially if you're accessing emails, as Aaron says is the case. He says that his Google accounts had been accessed. He was sending an email, which would be a felony under the CFAA. However, before I read these really retarded fucking messages, let me just say this. What I heard that is interesting. So there are many layers to why what Rekieta is doing high on Whippets is extremely retarded. First, you have the felony of the CFAA. Now, would the federal government prosecute somebody for logging into a Google account and seeing that they watch cuckold porn? Probably not. Good chance that's not going to happen. However, he's complicating this for himself by committing several other crimes. And as they say, never commit a felony while committing a felony while being prosecuted for a felony, because then, then your life gets real fucked up real fast. So his accessing of this Google account is frustrating to his ambition to stay out of prison for several reasons. The first of all, Aaron Imholt is a witness. He's a state witness against Nick Rekieta for the ongoing drug charges. And Nick Rekieta is aware that Aaron Imholt is a potential witness for the state, and he is still fucking with him, and he is still doing things to try and embarrass him. And this can be considered witness intimidation. Witness intimidation is a felony in Minnesota, and it's also a felony federally. If you do interstate or telecommunication witness intimidation, that could be a federal offense, especially in combination with the CFAA. Bad idea. Second, and this is even more crazy for him, is that if he's sending emails, that complicates things. But if he's reading his emails, there's another problem for him. Because Aaron Imholt has initiated legal proceedings filed complaints against Rekieta for his behavior. And he's hired an attorney to do so. So there's a non-zero chance that Rekieta has seen privileged attorney-client communications between Aaron Imholt and his attorney in regards to matters that concern him. And that's bad enough on its own, but it's doubly, triply bad for Nick Rekieta because Nick Rekieta is a sitting member of the bar in which this crime is being committed. So and the bar has a very different standard for evidence than the court system. So it is potentially a situation where the bar exam is going to say it is completely unacceptable for you to be spying on attorney-client privileges, and you fucking know this because you are an attorney, and then they can disbar them, potentially permanently, because the bar association, or the bar and the bar association is a different thing. That's a technicality, but the bar has different standards for stuff, and it's potential that they can really fuck him over. They can revoke his ability to practice law. Not that it means anything besides a theoretical victory. I talked to two attorneys about this, and they had different opinions. Attorney A, who I will simply refer to as Big Guy, his opinion was that it's definitely possible, and they might do it if they hate him. The other guy, I don't know what nickname I'll give him. He has no nickname. He's just Guy B. But that's all the information you need to know. Guy B is a very grounded person who views government practically. And his opinion is that the government prefers to do as little as humanly possible at all times unless they really, 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 really have to. So the chances of the bar going out of its way to disbar him for this is very small, even if it is a breach of violations. And even if they do, it might just be a year or two suspension. So he's always very grounded in reality, very practical, very withheld, and always, always, always of the belief that the government does not actually want to enforce any of its laws unless you really piss them off. Whereas Big Guy is a little bit more ambitious in his prognostications, possibly for personal reasons. So that's the two opinions I've heard. But it's a situation you don't want to be in, obviously. Okay, let's continue with these. I heard from a really intimate friend that Aaron comes really fucking fast when he asked how your dick feels inside of me, Nick, especially how big it is and how you made me bleed all over the sheets on your birthday. Why would he tell anyone that? Seems like I asked for my privacy. Here we have April saying that she got pounded so hard she bled, which when I read that, I'm just thinking that has to be drugs. Like, it has to be a thing where you're taking, like, ecstasy or something, or maybe cocaine. I've never done either, so I don't know. But it feels like you're doing a drug so that you can have lots of sex, and then your sex is, like, outpacing your, like, the ability to produce lube naturally, and you don't lube up for whatever reason, so she's bleeding. That's what it sounds like to me. I just finally shared mine. Oh, wait, Dick. This is in response to Juju the Cow, aka the expert, aka Dick Masterson, and gets fucked in the asshole just as a cow. He says, "Every single woman also has a scary story about a ghost." That is not true. For sure, that's not true. That's a weird thing. Oh, Dick. Juju's also a pro Fuentes Nick sucker. That's and he had Nick as a guest once, and I think he called him like the. Oh, I'm thinking of the other guy, Richard Spencer. He had Richard Spencer on. He said he was so sexy. Juju says, every single woman has a scary story about a ghost. April says, I finally shared mine. I wish I could have justice for what he put me through. Oh, wait. And then Juju says, your body, my choice. And April says, time for Rekieta Law and I to finally choose our bodies for once and stop letting other people violate and abuse us. April says, and the... Juju says, Imholt cruising Rekieta's Kiwi Farms thread and then gets so turned on by the memory of his wife getting fucked, he immediately goes to Pornhub and jacks off to cuck porn, and then he goes on to his wife's Twitter. April says, and the cycle continues. You don't get to fuck me ever again, Aaron. I loved you, and I was good to you. Nick and I will haunt your memory for life for what you've done to us. That was your choice. Eric Lancaster says, God, I hope Rekieta's kids do not have access to the lowercase I internet. Which one? Timid Tiger says, of course they do, frowny face. April responds to that one saying, if it wasn't for their dad and I telling the truth about love and sex and the two of us, those kids wouldn't have been left to read all the lies and cheap filth you bottom-feeding scum I put on the lowercase I internet. Which one? For a year now, Nick and I will keep telling the truth. You won't. I kept all the abuse of me a secret. I let you take away my confidence, my voice, my position as a loving stepmother. Ew, bitch. Ew, bitch. Don't you fucking dare. Gross ass, nasty ass, bitch ass hoe. Dude, April is like, whenever you read those like posts by like the Manosphere type Twitter aggregators, like the Nick Fuentes, Juju the Cow, Andrew Tate types, they're all like, white women are dogs. Yeah, white women only want one thing, and it's disgusting. Yeah. They're not actually talking about white women. They're talking specifically about April Imholt by name. They're just very confused. This woman is like a gross fucking she-devil hoe. Bitch-ass, dirty-ass hoe. Nasty-ass hoe. That's right. My voice as an entertainer, my voice in life, my privacy of my relations, my privacy as an adult, and my humanity. I'm a human being. My bad. Never again. There's more. She starts talking more about Rekieta sexually. She says, boy, would I like to. And then Flimsy Greenberg, Jewish, says, taste Rekieta Law's cum. And she says, yes. I have not yet begun to defile myself at Rekieta Law. I need your help. I don't know what she's replying to. High Ass Face, who has a picture of the BC Games roulette wheel that Bossman Jack was a big fan of as his avatar, which 100% identifies this person as a Kino Casino, the Kiwi Farms chat room participant. He says, come check out the Steel Toe subreddit. And April says, it made me smile for the first time in my life, but I'm having a hard time coming. I need Rekieta Law and his huge Polish dick for that. Give me that thick sauce, girl. I'm hungry. That is vile. I don't think I ever want to do Whippets, chat. Keep that galaxy gas away from me. And then, of course, she backtracks all of this. You ready? April says, I just got off the phone with support, and it looks like someone had my credentials. I don't know what their intentions were or who that was, but I'm not making that mistake again. And then she kind of casts doubt on that and says, some other fucked up version of me. There won't be posts like that again. Even if the stories are true, I can deliver them with much higher class, and this isn't the place for it. She says, I was hacked, and then I'll just do better next time. This is a lie. I can 100% prove to all of you right fucking now that this is a lie. I dare you. I double dog dare you, motherfucker. Go to the internet and you try to find the Twitter customer support number. It does not exist. There is not a single phone number available to the public that you can call to get access to a Twitter customer support agent. They don't fucking exist. She did not get a call from Twitter customer support because it doesn't fucking, it's not on this plane of reality, okay? So she's a flat out fucking liar. It has never had customer support. Okay, so this is more on the CFA thing. Aaron said, ready for this one. Nick was logged into my Google account in his house and was reading my emails and sending some to people. Password changed and devices logged out. He says, I think he observed I was logged into his computer and had been accessing the account, and new people were sending me stuff for my case, which is what I was talking about in regards to the privileged communication. The person has to try to identify location access, see if you can reasonably establish unauthorized access. He says, I did, and I think it was from when I did shows there. I'm gonna regret this. This is the pedophile talking about dumb shit. I'll play like a minute of this.
Guys, we know Aaron's a cuck. You don't need evidence. But what I'm saying is, what if Nick has treasure troves of it? What if Aaron's been saving pictures of nude men to his photo roll? Oops. You know, again, like Aaron can wind up for this civil suit or whatever, but like, depending on what gets released before any of us get slapped with a whatever the fuck's gonna happen, you know, I mean, Jesus, the damage could be done. The damage could be done. Really, really bad stuff.
Winning as he's posting his biggest.
That sounds like a threat. That sounds like you're going to sue us, huh? Well, we're going to post all the cuckolding stuff. How are you going to threaten Aaron? Like, Aaron's already debased himself. He's already a cuckold. There's literally, like, there's a couple things worse than being a cuckold. Working for the IRS is worse. Chances are, if you work for the IRS, probably a cuck anyways. I think taxing people is the same kind of high you get as, like, jerking off to your own wife getting, like, pounded. How you gonna embarrass Aaron? I think that ship sailed. Everyone knows him as a cuckold at this point. Like, I think you it's like the scene from The Dark Knight Rises. It's like Batman's trying to intimidate the Joker. He's like, you have nothing to hold over me.
Of anything, but this is the classic version of it. Okay.
It's witness intimidation.
I didn't know Nick was putting that out at all. I had no fucking clue. I mean, again, I'd be intimidated. I will say that. Like, if I knew a guy had my whole search history, email, text messages, voicemail messages, search history, browser history, communications with legal people, zipped up photos, you know, credit cards, passwords, who knows what other accounts could have been accessed. Fuck, I'd be losing it. How's Aaron doing? You think that's a crime? I'd be losing my shit if I was Aaron. You don't know what he's got and what he's going to put out before your lawyer drafts up a cease and the shit.
Look at this cheesy pedophile grin. Disgusting. I'm like viscerally repulsed looking at this fat cunt. Yeah, that sounds like a threat, and it also sounds, I don't know. I don't want to like. It's like when people. I think there was even like a reply I saw on Twitter. It was like, "Oh, you're lining up for a RICO." And it's like nobody's getting fucking RICO'd. It does sound like conspiracy to me, though. It's all a matter of how pissed off the government is. And there's a case to be made that they are pissed off, because if they're going after Ralph for the misdemeanor nationwide, I mean, that sounds like they're pissed, Chad. I don't... It sounds like the counties are extremely displeased that they have all this super high-profile white trash shit, and none of the parties can just shut the fuck up. Like, we have an ongoing train wreck. There's kids in the mix. Show some fucking decorum. Show some humility, some respect for your situation, and shut the fuck up. Let's handle this. Let's dish out the sentences and figure out what we're gonna do. Let's shut the fuck up and treat this with the respect that it deserves. And what do the counties get from their defendants and from their witnesses? It's like you have this nonstop. It's like a 40-car pileup on the interstate, and it's all clown cars, and there's just like banana. The emergency responders are actively trying to put out fires, but they're slipping on like banana peels and getting banana cream pie to the face, and it's just like, what a fucking disaster! What an utter humiliation for the process, you know. You got fat felons hiding in Mexico. You got a pedophile, and the defendant's high on whippets and still fucking his girlfriend and breaking into his computer history. And it's just like every day the prosecutor of these two counties must wake up and be like, do I really? It's kind of like a catch-22. It's like, you know, we have all this shit we can hit them with, but then I have to deal with this fucking 40-car pileup. And 2 years from now, you're going to have this guy facing Computer Fraud Act charges and conspiracy to witness intimidation. You're going to have even more clowns in the car pile up. You're going to have more clown cars. There's going to be more banana cream pies. It's going to be like a mile long at that point, 2 years into this. They must just been thinking, like, do I really hate these people enough that I'm going to spend all these resources to fuck with them? But I mean, they're really trying, man. They're trying to make it worth it. At some point, there's gonna be a point if they keep going like this, where it's just like the games have stopped. They might even revoke fucking Rekieta's bond, because I think, if I remember correctly, he's on unconditional bond. But I think one of the mandatory conditions, even of unconditional bond, is that he remain law-abiding. So if he's like doing criminal shit, they could revoke his bond and be like, okay, look, the clown car shit, it's over with. You're going to jail until your fucking trial. You violated your bond. We don't even have, like, I don't even know if they have to charge him with another crime to say that he's not been law abiding. They just have a suspicion that he's violated bond. Do they have to press a charge? I don't know how that works, but I think they might. Yeah, they might. I can't imagine. I'm imagining my attorney friends who are used to be prosecutors, and I'm thinking, like, I can't imagine what he would do if he was in this situation. Because a big thing I didn't even think about until we had conversations was that because attorneys are elected official, prosecuting attorneys in most counties in the country are elected. They have to run for office and be elected to become a prosecuting attorney. And it's kind of like they have to set how hard on crime they're going to be, and they also have to manage their finances. So a conservative is going to be like, we're tough on crime and we're not going to waste any money, you know? So we're gonna reduce payroll and stuff, and we're gonna give out harsher sentences. It's like, are the people of Stearns County and Candy, Ohio County going to appreciate their prosecuting attorneys putting out a $10,000 extradition to pick somebody up in California for a misdemeanor? Who knows? Maybe they would appreciate it. I'm like, yeah, these guys are making a mockery of our courts, you know, and playing games and disrespecting the decorum of our proceedings. And it's like, I'm glad that the county spent the tax money to go round up all these faggots and put them in prison. Who knows? It's a very open-ended question. So there's a little bit more, I think. Let's see. Okay, this is a video put out by Third World Aristocrat. I've not seen it, but it's highly acclaimed. Let's take a watch.
Lady Rackets.
It's called Was It Worth It, by the way.
Is the love of my life who I promised myself to. People can say whatever they want. We are monogamous. We are our first. We are our last. And we are our best. Come up with whatever story you want. Will never be true.
Y'all, I am monogamous AF. If you ever see any video or picture of me with anyone, much less another woman, it's absolutely fake. Absolutely. But
wait, so the girlfriend you spoke of earlier was not April?
She was my girlfriend at the time. We're broken up now. It sucks, man. I love her. She's cool.
Wow.
I
People
said
are
that to
gonna.
April all the time. I'd come on again.
Yeah, are you still ramming April's hot pocket?
No, God. I wish. It's awesome.
What?
April, can I muscle you though? Like, is that okay?
Jesus Christ. This is a good question. Does April come?
Of course she does. When I talk to April, shockingly, I don't really want to talk to her about her Aaron origin story. I want to talk to her about cool stuff.
Like her vagina.
Do you think she'll?
Yeah, exactly. That thing's awesome.
What is cheating is then exploiting that for gratification that should come from your spouse. That's the infidelity. It's when you don't say no. That's the transgression.
At the end of the day, it's always us. It's not anybody else. But people try to make it more than us. They do, being monogamous with Lady Rackets. And people have tried to make that into something it isn't, and I don't know what to tell them. I am monogamous with Lady Rackets. She's monogamous with me. We're our only people. We have been for 19 years. We were virgins when we met. It's just us.
I'm like, hey, you're my friend. I just want you to know this thing isn't true. By the way, my wife and I are monogamous and have been for our entire marriage. We were virgins when we met, and we are our only people we've ever had sex with. I know that there's these like weird rumors about us. I just want you to know as my friend, because there's this weird shit going on. I've been married for...
By the way, I'm going to pause it there. That whole diatribe to Sean wasn't to Sean. It was about me. It was about me publishing the shower text because he was upset that people were talking about him potentially swinging at hedonism too. And he just kept messaging me to tell me I honestly can't even put into words how fucking annoying it is. When you get a message and it's fucking Ricada and he's telling you people in the Kiwi farms are wrong. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you telling me this for? I don't care. And he's just like, this is just for you, bro. Just as friends. I just want you to know that they're wrong. And, with the hedonism 2 shit, I didn't even give a fuck. I truly didn't give a fuck. I didn't read his thread that much. Like, I was still kind of like pro Nick even after the hedonism stuff because it was just like a rumor. I'm just like, I honestly don't care enough about this to be like, oh, fuck this guy because of his vacation to Jamaica. But he like pressed it so hard. And it's just like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
16 years and have 5 kids. So I very much I'm pro monogamy, and I think it weirds me out to see like these pushes for alternative sort of relationships.
Can you tell us whether or not Aaron does in fact know what your cum tastes like?
Yes, he does.
Yeah! I knew it! Yes. No! Would you say that Aaron has sampled your essence more than once?
I don't know. I know of the one story, but let me just say that from the story, I can tell you very clearly, it wasn't a fucking accident.
The fact that Aaron sampled Nick's cum and it wasn't an accident is the bombshell.
I don't know why he would do that.
I guess that needs to be said, but other people's fantasies about us are their own fantasies. My wife and I are happily monogamous. If you don't get it, if you don't understand how relationships work, if you don't understand what a man's promise is,
to the person he cares about means. And if you don't understand what a woman's promises to the person she cares about means, that's on you. It's not on me.
Nick Rekieta started his career as a humble family man that grew into wild success with an audience of 100,000 plus, making buku bucks. You stood at the precipice of success and you threw it away. For what? Momentary pleasure. But again, I'll ask you, was it worth it?
Obviously. I didn't realize that Jim was an incel prude, chat. Very good video as always. I'm gonna upgrade this. The sticker upgrade. I appreciate. I always like forum-made content such as this. Oh, but someone was asking about the song. Is the music here? Right, you gotta. People always ask what the song is. If you make a video like this, you gotta tell people what the music is, bro. It's important. That's why I always put the songs in my streams at the bottom, because otherwise I get nagged to death. Cool. There is one update. I saw this on Zitter or something, and it's apparently from the forum, but he doesn't link to the forum. So this guy says, Cricket, I don't know who this is. I've always said that he's probably that one guy, Kinoshe. And if he's Kinoshe, he needs to never tell people that he's Kinoshe ever. He just needs to keep being Cricketa. He needs to hide his dark, shameful past as being Kinoshe. But Kiwi Farms users have discovered a Facebook post made by Dan Sletta, the stepfather of Kayla Rekieta. The post is an impassioned plea for Kayla to recognize her self-worth. Let's read this. Dan Slota says, the sun, the moon, and all the planets that can be seen and those not seen. All material worth in the universe isn't worth as much as you. Not even close. My beautiful daughter, don't let anyone convince you that you owe them something. No one on this planet even has the right to look in your eyes. If they wouldn't trade their life to save you from perversion, verbal, physical molestation, out of love like Jesus, they don't deserve to be around you. That's a very fucking strong statement. So I can't attest to this. I have been tagged like 10 times since I started talking about Rekieta, and there's a part of my subconscious that's screaming at me that there are people desperately trying to contact me in regards to Rekieta. A lot of this is in the Fuentes thread. Clipped out over an hour of Kino Casino getting to 4 minutes of Melton spilling the bean. I already went over that. Okay, no, sorry. I've just been tagged a million times in the Fuentes thread. Where is the stuff about the stepfather, though? That's curious. Oh, okay, this guy wanted me to cover this, by the way. I figure I might as well. These three users, Harm, Strix, Procrastinator, and I guess Oxygen, would like me to posit you this theory that at some point Nick Rekieta started getting interested in the occult, and they are of the mind that Nick Rekieta is literally possessed by a demon, and so is April Anderson, and that's why he's like this. Should I play this clip? I guess I might. He did clip it for me.
Nick Rekieta has access to Aaron's Google account, to the computer. Allegedly to the computer he logged in on at Nick Rekieta's house. May I have known about this for a long time? Yeah. Maybe there's more. Nick was accessing his Gmail from this computer at Nick's house. And why would this be? April has the password. Nick hacked in. No. Hit the like button. Aaron used to do shows from Nick's house when they were having one of their swinger getaways. And apparently Aaron logged in. And by the way, even if Nick told me this, it's just what Nick said.
you're right.
Who knows what's real? Nick could be fucking with all of us, right? I can tell you.
Wait.
That I have seen more than what Nick's posted. Nick just
Dude,
posted.
I love that this clip is elevated by the editor desperately trying to stop Andy Worski from interrupting it every 30 seconds. Like you can tell that there is like minutes of random Andy Worski interruptions on the clipping room floor for this clip.
A little thing. I do have no reason to believe this is fake. What it is. Him and April then started laughing about it over tweets and stuff. We all know what this is. We all know what this is. Then Aaron logged in and signed in to Nick's computer almost a year ago. Time they did shows from the Rekieta compound. And when I say logged in, I don't mean Gmail. I mean Google. And it looks like the browser. Looks like he synced the account to this Chrome, to this computer. And this would be everything Aaron M. Holt Google. This is YouTube. Analytics, money, numbers, all of it. Gmail.
Whoa.
Phone call record. Voicemails. Anything that's your Google account.
That's a bad one.
Search history. For instance, if Aaron M. Holt were worried that he might be getting sued for defamation, he might be panic Googling things.
Aaron.
Can I be sued for defamation without being served a cease and desist? Open tabs. Just the most intimate details of your life. I don't think people understand
You sick.
how crazy search history is. Aaron's Google account might be decades old. YouTube. Who knows? Who knows? Years of text messages. Think about how important email is to other services. You get a PayPal or Venmo donation, you get an email about it. This has ramifications. I don't think people understand. Imagine you were caught having intimate legal conversations, and then you couple that with the security cameras that may or may not exist. Maybe I have the full, complete presentation memo that Aaron sent over to get his little radio job. I don't know. Nick Rekieta has access to Aaron's Google account, to the computer, I get, allegedly to the computer he logged in on at Nick Rekieta's house. May I have known about this for a long time? Yeah. Maybe
Am I insane? Sorry, it looped over. I didn't even notice. Yeah, so basically just completely outlining that he has every facet of Aaron's life, and he's going to try to destroy him with that. Good for him. That's effectively the Rekieta update. So I guess he thought he was really, really, really clever, like using his Google account against him. I don't think that will work out in his favor in the long term. It really just depends on how eager the government is to get him. There is one thing that I want to circle back to, and then I have the Reddit segment, and then we're gonna wrap up before it gets too late. I missed a post. This is from the SS14 area. This guy really wants me to cover this, so I'll read these. PJB, one of the moderators for the SS14 Discord, said, I just want to write this to everybody I've been heard upset or screamed at or anything else to apologize and say I'm really fucking sorry for everything. I feel like I'm a broken person and know that I've let that affect how I interact with people here. I've cared about it. I can't offer anything other than a late, half-assed, non-specific apology. I'm sorry for fucking everything. And then Myra, the furry tranny mod, says, I suck at writing these, but here I go. It's human to make mistakes. It's also good to admit those mistakes. Me and others are always here for you and would appreciate helping if you ever asked. You have always stayed strong despite everything you've done for this amazing project. Just know I'm very grateful. I even managed to become friends with you. And this is coming from a very shy teenager who barely has any friends. But I've always felt comfortable around you, and I'm sure others feel that way too. After all, you and some of the others made me gender fluid. They out there in SS-14 grooming the furries, putting the gender fluid into them. Disgusting shit. Okay, where's my... There it is. Okay, let me switch over to Edrit real quick. Don't you dare. Oh, you're blocking me. Okay, hold up. This is in the Man at the Internet thread still. Someone screen capped it. By the way, someone posted this on the Man at the Internet thread. If you use a Cockley account, Vincent is saying that there is government duress pressuring him to shut down his service or something. So if you actively use a Cockley account, or Firemail, Airmail, any of those, DixonMyAnu.us, those types of emails, he is asking for donations because he says that there's some kind of Cock.li, Cockley. It's a very kind of professional email service ran by a 8chan alumni called Vincent, and he's in Romania, in Bucharest, and he runs an email service, and he's had issues with the federal government in the U.S. because of his email service, and he's kind of indicating that there's an issue. So if you do use Cockley, and a lot of people do, don't be like, a lot of people have Kiwi Farms accounts with Cockley emails. So if you use that, you should I can't fucking believe that this post might be gone. I have a screen cap of it still, I think. No, dude, the entire thread's gone. No, you can't do this to me. Okay, I will read the only part of this that I have, because when I, actually, I'm so desperate to get this post, I'm going to try to find an archive of it really quick, because it's so funny. There's a guy that posted the Maddie thread, and he's a lurker of, what's the delete edit thing? Deleted Reddit. Just like del edit, right? Rev edit. Okay, that's it. Sorry. Can I just press on this? Oh no, okay. Yeah, they fucked over the way that Reddit works, so you can't do this anymore. I'll just read what I have. Okay, I just have like a screenshot from when I sent it to myself. It's a Reddit post in the Zero COVID community. And the question was, my fellow single COVID cautious people, especially fellow queer people, how are we doing? And then there is a post by Firefly Child 024, and this is the only excerpt I have of this amazing post. And it starts, honest answer, I've been spiraling. I'm grateful to at least have my mom, but COVID has completely derailed the prospect of finding love. I solidified my first official relationship shortly before the pandemic. I had known this person for years, but we were best friends and we loved each other for a long time. I knew I wanted to marry him. I never got to go on a physical date because of the pandemic. Despite the barriers, we tried to make it work virtually and lasted nearly a year. It was unconventional and sweet. This person went on to like a 4-paragraph essay explaining how their schizophrenic obsession with COVID-19 and having a zero COVID world has made them a psychotic shut-in that can't leave their house, refuses to go on dates, cries because they get snubbed for dates by people who are like, you still wear a fucking mask? Are you like a retard? It has completely destroyed their entire life, and they're still doing it. So they must feel like Jesus Christ carrying the mask on their back. Like, I do it so that you don't have to. I suffer alone. That's how good I am. What a shame. Okay. Sorry, the Reddit segment was not what I was hoping it would be. I will now read the super chats, and of course, this time I'll actually remember to make the background green. Excellent. Thank you for watching if you're going to tune out at this point. But, okay, let's see. Some of these super chats are going to be Ralph's, I feel. So hopefully I'll notice those. Lieutenant Razchak says, like the new shirt, you have good taste in design. Thank you. I agree. I feel like I have a good eye for like nice graphical t-shirts and stuff. Kurt Eichenwald, anime masturbator for 5 says, Glorious Kiwi Emperor, would Kamala have won if she had streamed Fortnite? Very strong possibility she would have won if she had streamed Fortnite, because then all the Zoomers would have voted for her. I think she lost even the young vote, which is a bit unusual. Just a famous bet for one says, late and gay as usual. I was not late at all. Daily Grifter for one says, for the record, Echo Shaggy, aka Echo Shaggy, is scared of me, chonky honky, because maybe I made fun of his uglet fat face. Despite being sector smart, he is retarded compared to me. Echo Shaggy's ugly. That, I'm pretty sure, is a Ralph super chat. But I've read it anyways. So he's gotten a double dose of super chats. Schwarzwald Null for 50 says, my cat says he wants you to buy a toaster or something when back. Toaster? Oh, with the $50. Sure. I think I'll get it. Maybe I'll get a toaster. I don't really eat toast that much. If I toast, I just pan skillet it. I'll find a use for it. Don't you worry. We'll find a use. Cheese 94 for 2 says, in Florida's 17th Senate District, there was a sweaty Jew against a tranny granny. How would you have at Cheese 94 voted? Literally everything over a tranny. I would vote for fucking Muslims before a tranny, bro. Like, there's no, like, demographically speaking, there is no lesser than the fucking trannies. Space Allen for 20 says, Ham Jam. Thank you, Space Allen. I appreciate it. I'll have to fix emotes on the fucking Rumble at some point. Doodlepop for 10 says, your hoodie was just like your show, Josh, late and extremely comforting, and well put together. Thanks, brother. I'm glad that I never receive any complaints about the merch. That's gratifying, at least. The zip up was kind of a last minute change because the other stuff that's Next Level. That's the name of the manufacturer of the garments, and I really like their other stuff, so I've always stuck with them. But they were out of all the Next Level stuff because they had supply chain issues, so I had to make a last second change. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed. 11th Circuit for 2 says, I'm giving all my energy this week to Fed, who's investigating Patrick Melton's computer history. Come on, Feds, do something good for once. Bro, I can't wait for the next Government Did Something episode. That'll be a great episode. Holy Hal for 5 says, hope you're having a good day, Joshua. My neighbor always. Thank you, Holy. Appreciate it. Dr. Coffin Nails for 10 says, I'm ready to start loving white woman as per your suggestion. Consider this link to the AI songs as my olive branch. Okay, let's listen. I'm sure this is going to suck ass. AI song, obscurest vinyl topic. You look like you could use a fucking lamp.
I saw you walking down the street, all fucking stupid and shit. You're looking dim, so I grabbed this lamp just to say what's up, bitch. Oh, you look like you could use a fucking lamp. You look like you could.
That's very, very stupid, but thank you. Deadly Allowed for 1 says, get a Gopnik boyfriend to help you with your computer, Josh. Ew, gross. Lucifer Justin for 1 says, can someone send the mice from Babe to check on Ralph? They have experience with pigs. He wishes he could get that kind of care. Davies TV for 1 says, I forgot it's Tuesday. It is indeed Tuesday. I'm glad you noticed, Davies TV. Farmer Fletcher for 1 says, Josh Dick Sucker, more like it. Yeah, right. You can't. Many have tried to run a heel on me, but it cannot be done. Casting Couchcraft for 5 says, they fix Helldivers. You can pop Bile Titans with 1 recoilless round to the face again. All weapons are viable. Long live Trump's democracy. I played a little bit of Helldivers not too long ago, and I was very satisfied with my Bile Titan murdering. However, I was playing at a really high level at like 8, and I feel like they've really. I had like a setup where I was using the really big, like 50 caliber gun that explodes when you shoot. I was using that with the sidearm that pierces like heavy armor, and there was really no challenge. And I was just playing in pubs. I feel like the game would benefit from more monsters. It feels like they toned down how many mobs spawn at any given time. The Q&A for one says, Mup to do did a pomo gub bida d that tom motherfucking big snood cough bin dub ho motherfucker. Don't know what that means. I don't speak Ebonics. My hamster is a turf for one says, isn't it funny that now all of a sudden the left knows what a woman is? Hint uterus. Do they? I feel like they're still retarded. There was a couple people being like, maybe we should be less retarded, but they're still definitely retarded. There was a clip from CNN. I don't think I even played on stream, but it was a black man, and he was saying like, you know, I think I did play this on stream. No, I didn't. I don't think I played this on stream. Hold up. I'll play this because it's really funny. If I can find it in like 30 seconds, if not. CNN transgenders panel. No, I can't find it. Wait, is this it? Yeah, it's like a 30-second clip. Okay, great. This guy tried to talk sense, and he was roundly reprimanded for it.
I think there are a lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is. They're not boys. They're not boys. They're not playing girls' softball. I'm not going to sit there and listen to that.
Let's reset for a second because, look, this is a really heated issue, right? And Sharmichael, I know you. I know that you understand that people have different views on this.
The black guy was completely unyielding about this, and credit to him, because they tried to correct him and get him back on that plantation, and he does exactly what I do when I'm trying to like avoid an issue without actually having to use their language. He just avoided using pronouns altogether to like address it so that the guy wouldn't get like triggered at the response, but he never yielded. And but that conversation's a perfect summary of why Democrats are going to keep losing. Le Pigeon for 10 says, black women speaking and it's all I can hear. Ooh, I have an idea of what this is.
I'm sorry. Do you really hate me that bad?
It's going to be really funny when I run this through post and people on the podcast are going to be listening like, what the fuck? I didn't hear anything. Because the podcast post process just completely rips out chirps. It's the biggest travesty ever. Thank you. I Heart Nature for 5 says, hoodie finally came in and it's just as comfy as I thought it would be. Thanks, Josh. I'm glad you like it. Thank you. Anime Sucks Cope and Sneed for 1 says, my 19-year-old cat died. I'm very sorry to hear that. Anime Sucks Cope and Sneed. F's in the chat. Baja Blast Enjoyer for 5 says, if I wanted to get into crypto seriously, what would be some good resources? I don't trust Google. I guess you're asking that because it's $90,000 right now. You're going to need a paper wallet. I mean, it's so hard to explain. You have to remember that cryptocurrency is a speculative investment held by people who are trying to get 1,000x from India or whatever the fuck. You're gonna have to, if you want to buy it, you're gonna have to do know your customer with either Coinbase or Kraken. I use Kraken, and you're gonna need a paper wallet like Electrum or Exodus or the Trezor Suite, something like that. But crypto is not extremely exciting. You just buy it, and then once you have it, you can spend it, and it doesn't go through a bank, basically. If not, I mean, go to the Kiwi Farms and the business board. There's a lot of crypto discussion. Carnova for 5 says, happy pill stream day. Keep stealing Josh. Thank you. I will. Thank you. Haramburger for 2 says, you mother trucker, you neighbor cattle, you're taking an entire month off of streaming. Time for Haramburger News Network to rise up and poach your audience during the holidays. Yeah, taking off any length of time is always like really damaging to numbers, and it kind of hurts because I'm back up to like 4,000 again. So it's like if I take off an entire month, I'm gonna like shoot myself in the foot. But I need it. I just don't have an option unless the whole move falls apart. I feel like an entire month is probably a good idea. I might do pre-recorded things and release them just to keep people around, or I might do some. I don't know. I'll think about it. Morrowind Game of the Year for 2 says, thanks, Josh, for the stream. Can I get an F on my cat on the left? We're putting him down on Friday due to cancer. Just want to memorialize him before he goes. Appear to be in the segment of running a stream where people send you dead cats. Okay. What's his name? Didn't give him a name. I'm just say the cat. Should at least send the name. And sorry, bro. It sucks. I've lost cats. Never fun. Genesis RCO for 5 says, Happy Pizza Day. Pizza Day is on Friday. I have corrected many times, many thousands of people. Thank you. I appreciate it. Lacuna everyone says, once you move to the U.S., will you start telling us stories about living in Europe you couldn't before of stalker children issues? Maybe. Maybe I will. I'll think about it. I always run my fucking mouth too much anyway, so probably yes. Lucifer 21041 says TTD, 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 and then the American Eagles. And I could not possibly agree more. Kerr04 for 5 says, Josh, when China moves to invade Taiwan, would you support the U.S. blowing up TSMC microprocessing fabs to deny China a tech advantage? Yes, actually. Though I think that that's going to happen before the invasion. I wouldn't be surprised if that entire thing was set to blow already. I made the joke last stream, but I'm pretty sure that when they get there, it's not going to be taking it over. And that's probably a big reason why they haven't tried to take it over yet, because they know that if they try to seize the TSMC, they're going to probably destroy it to deny them that tactical advantage. Though I think that the U.S., Joe Biden said something, tried to ask Taiwan to not send any more 2-nanometer semiconductors to China or something from it, so if he starts cutting them off from the TSMC, then they have no reason not to blow it up, you know? The U.S. doesn't have the manufacturing for it yet. Cole Dante for 10 says, Patreon banning Redux wasn't political, they just need to make space on their servers for more porn. Yeah, fucking right. Pretty true, though. Thank you. Eagleus Sneed for 10 says, when Trump is officially in, he'll give you access to the cheese tunnels. Oh, I'm not gonna get access to the NTIA. He's gonna put me in the USDA. I'm going to be in charge of the cheese tunnels. Okay, that's fair. That's a fair compromise. Thank you. Humble Guardsman for 3 says, Dear Peter, do I buy pumpkin spice goat cheese? I mean, pumpkin spice is just like nutmeg, right? I'm not a big fan of nutmeg. You could try it. It sounds like it might be good. Not as good as Old Bay vodka. Anime Extremist for 2 says, Chinese, Jews, blacks, Muslims, and Arabs live on recruit difficulty. When you're a white cis Christian, you spawn in on veteran. Is the difficulty like a skull? Is that where it's at? Docs Found for 5 says, when you search for Tommy Tudor, KiwiFarms.net is the first thing that comes up on Google. Are we really that back? We're so fucking back. You can't even believe it. I got an email from Google Webmaster congratulating me that 100,000 people clicked links to KiwiFarms.st last month. That's always fun. TB Deluxe for 2 says, I think, Josh, this time next year you'll be back in the USA, pizza slice in one hand, bottle of crab vodka in the other, doing 100 in your tricked out Dodge Charger. Good things ahead. Only good things. 2024 was a bit of a wash. 2025, that's my year, finally. Lucifero 210 for 1 says, my Kiwi shirt just arrived. Very nice. I'm glad everybody's getting their stuff, finally. It's a bit late. But now I have a working process sorted out, so it should be faster next time. Melon Salt for 1 says, the spinning thing Chantal was on was crying for help. Engineer. Yeah, it did not sound long for this world. I wouldn't have gotten on that thing with that thing screaming at me like that. Euclid for 5 says, Jersh is the best closeted streamer. Thank you. Finally, I'm beating out all the competition. Monero Extremist for 1 says, Burr, it's getting chilly outside. You know what would help you keep you warm? A hot cup of Monero Super Chats you can enable in less than 5 minutes. I can enable it I'd have to give them a secret key first of all, but then I'd have to also integrate it into the stream overlay. I don't know if you're that dedicated. You want to fix the fucking stream overlay for me? Go for it. Maybe I will. Collier Dante for 10 says, Ralph has a nationwide warrant in Minnesota. I hope he knows a Minnesota lawyer. He knows one of the best, of course. Thank you. No hurt, Mr. Metal for 10 says, missed you election stream, missed you last stream, but I've been felted by Kino Casino, suffer bish, suffer null. I don't even know what that means. Thank you, I appreciate it. Beep Bloop for 30 says, the season of Fish Tank has been really great thanks to the easily gaslit normie cast and this very despicable Jeet. I'm very vaguely aware of the Fish Tank stuff. I'm aware that there's like a grabby Pajit that's like molesting the female crew. Oh yeah, here we go.
Connor, in this industry, do not touch a woman. You always have to ask them for their consent. It is very important. Whether you touch them, kiss them, peck them, anything, you always
Look at his face.
For the consent.
Yeah, he does. Right on her fucking neck and shit too. Ew, God, they're so gross, man.
Industry, ask them for their consent before you touch them. Every time, and not even for the camera, but every time I do a scene with a woman and they ask me to touch a woman, and then there's one, oh wait, she's on.
He's so touchy. Ew.
My first first scene with a woman was with Smack. I had to touch her by the shoulder, and I asked her for my consent.
Even the cameraman like hits his hand away, bro. Jeets, man, gross. I tuned in just long enough to see, because they were talking about Jan, and Jan had written a script about social media. Like it was like a really shitty poem about social media and how it controls you. And they got the Jeet to read it, and the whole thing was that the Jeet had to read the script and like as if he was really emotionally impacted by it. And it was just like the most over the top kitsch, like super cringe, like poem imaginable. And the Jeet got so into it because he was like, "This is my big break," and they had him read the entire thing like 4 fucking times. And Sam kept asking the girl if she could cry on command. Like, you have to shed some tears so we can get you crying at the beauty of this poem as the Jeet reads it. And she tried to cry, and she couldn't. She couldn't muster the fake tears for this bullshit-ass retard poem. But the Jeet really thought he was, like, nailing it and shit. And everyone was, like, saying, yeah, he's really nailing it. It was really cringe. I'm very bad at the cringe stuff, so it's like the kind of cringe that Jan can pull off is like a little bit over my head, but I still listen to it. It's pretty funny. Lucifero 210 for 1 says the orchestral music adds a certain je ne sais quoi to the bloviating pig monster. It's so true. It's so true. When she said "Show me your pussy," I was like, yeah, that really does add an essential level to the piece. Sneed and Feedin for 1 says October was Google's DEI month and they hosted a drag show for employees. The tree is rotted from the inside. Well, that's because Liz Fong Jones started that shit. I hope that Google dies. I want to see Google die. If I could pick a random company to completely crush, probably be MasterCard or Visa. Just one. It depends on how it would be crushed. If like their buildings just explode, I would pick one of those. But if it was just like a company that would cease to exist, Google would be a good pick. Judy Tester for 3 says, I really didn't think that Fuentes lived in Chicago. I assumed it was an old address. I had no idea. I could have done a Chicago locale twofer as a sequel to the Liz Fong Jones sighting. Should have. I mean, it's the hot new thing to do. Just wear goggles. Sneedo for 1 says, Josh, what would you do if someone with danger hair and trans pen came up to your door? I would tell them to leave, and I would close the door. Sneedo for 1 says, Dim Pool fears the Kiwi Farms. It's true. We're too potent. Malacalypse, the younger for 5 says, the swelling operatic music moves Josh to think about Paradox map painters, unlocking the technology that allows him to make a dying fat man's life just a little bit more inconvenient. It's Kino. I don't even know what that means. It's vaguely offensive, and I don't even know why. Humble Guardsman for one says, in my amateur legal opinion, Fuentes is going to get raped by black men, Lamau. Hey man, his body, their choice. For years. Sneedo for one says, he's got more locks than some houses in the hood. Yeah, that's what it sounds like, bro. It sounds like he's rigging up a fucking, like he's locking up, that fucking, the Hannibal Lecter. He's chaining Hannibal Lecter to a chair or something. Porglac for 8 says, this has been a righteous Maddie. Good job. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sneedo for 10 says, she was a rat dude. And then there is a link to a post in the Fuentes thread. Let's take a look.
What's good? Dude, you're a fucking rat. Get the fuck out. Get out of my house. Okay. Get out of my house. I played on PC. Get the fuck out, dude. Okay. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Get your shit and get the fuck out. Get the fuck out, dude. You are a fucking rat, dude.
That was actually really well timed with the video. Good job. Gormless Wonder for 5 says, Fuentes posts squirting, and then there is a GIF, which I'm extremely hesitant to open. Oh, okay. It's just a cartoon. There we go. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Ah, no, lock it up. He needs to get one of those barricade bars or whatever. High Confessor for 10 says, did you ever figure out the online school deal? If not, what was your really funny idea that you wanted to do? Become a lawyer. But it's not possible unless I, at least it wasn't when I looked, because there wasn't really any totally online schools for law, but maybe one day I'll sneak in, get a law degree, exfiltrate it. Thank you. Sneedo for 1 says, ah, ha, 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 B-Jams. I'm assuming that's a reference to April. MH Darklaw for 1 says, if I'm to believe Nick's story of Aaron eating his coom, then I guess that all of Aaron's stories about Kayla calling him the love of her life and Nick creeping on them are fucking true. Yeah, probably. They probably are. Bot or not for 10 says, fun fact about the Stearns County. Every county around to them refers to people that live there as having Stearns County syndrome because they're all inbred. Fun Minnesota fact for everybody. Hopefully the inbreds rise TF up and kill the pedophile. Thank you. MH Dark Law for 2 says, it's sad to see that the Crackett's versus Snack Cuck morning show is that Aaron is coming off as the smart one. Either way, after 7 months, everybody involved is still retarded and cucks. I mean, Aaron is the one keeping his fucking mouth shut. Nick and April are always on social media saying dumb shit constantly. Like, you can't, like, if your life's fucked up and you just shut up, you can't really fuck it up anymore by doing nothing. Whereas Rakeda and April are constantly trying to, like, wrangle control of a situation they have no control over. Eagleist Sneed for 1 says, my uncle works for the Australian tax office, bro. They go after their own as well. Even if you are one of them, they are against you too. Dude, I'm sure. Anyone that works for taxes are just like... There's a reason why tax collectors in the Bible are used as like an allegory for like the worst people possible. Like, Jesus doesn't say that he forgives pedophiles or murderers or whatever. He says that he forgives tax collectors because they hate them even more. Sneedo for 2 says, I think I found the alternate universe versions of PPP and Worski. Goblin ranks every drug on Earth 2024 tier list. It kind of looks like Juju and one of Amberlynn Reed's ex-girlfriends. Doesn't look like Andy Worski. Mousecop 5 for 5 says, have you played Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2? Excellent multiplayer, better than Helldivers IMO. I have not. I played Space Marine the original, but I didn't like it very much. It kind of wore out the adrenaline very quickly. Sneed's Feed and Seed, formerly Suck and Fuck for 1 says, hopefully Fuentes goes into the poo-poo pee-pee rape dungeon right when Trump pardons everyone he sent there. Well, he would go to jail for a different reason. But yeah, based. Anime Extremist for 2 says, can you stream raid Ghost as you sign off when you're done streaming tonight so your viewers go there? And then it's on Rumble. And then Kick. Who's streaming today? Kino Casino streaming. Should I? Oh shit! Sorry, I stole. Let's see, Ghost Politics. I am done. Effectively. He live? What's he got? He's got 32 viewers. I could do that. I don't know. Sure, why not? I'll do Ghost. I'll do Ghost just as my one thank you for all the radio graffiti I listened to when I was a youngin'. Okay. Thank you for listening. If you're on Kick, you will be sent over to True Capitalist Radio here in a second. Let me turn off the background. And I'm going to pick a totally random song. Absolutely. I'm closing my eyes right now. I'm just going to pick a totally random song. And we'll see what comes up. And I'll see you guys on Friday. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Hey, man, where the fuck is Mario Judah?
I'm a big dog, big bear, nigga, I'm a lion. I'm the predator of the prey that is hiding. Oh my, I have found you, nigga. Don't you run from me, little nigga. You are not fast enough. You are not brave enough. You are out of luck. Now it's time for you to die very rough. You have been warned. There is nowhere to run. You will pay the price. I will take your life. There's no running back. Now your loved ones are so sad. You had a choice, but you failed. I'm a big dog, big bear, nigga, I'm a lion. I'm the predator of the prey that is hiding. Oh my, I have found you, nigga. Don't you run from me, little nigga. You are not fast enough. You are not brave enough. You are out of luck. Now it's time for you to die very rough.
Hey, man, where the fuck is Mario Judah?